Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 Fall Corporate Charity Championship, brought to you by CEA. We've got an exciting best of three to wrap it all up here for you. But first, I got to introduce this legend to my digital left, Nyarko. How are we feeling today, my friend?
Feeling fantastic as always, Hot Sauce. Whenever we get the call to be able to be by your side for one of these matchups, well, I'm right there and I am ready to go. We've got MS Teams versus MS Office facing off against one another here in the Corporate Charity Championship. Very excited for both of these teams to take two, as this is my first time casting for CEA in Hot Sauce. I've heard that there's quite a bit of high-level play going on here.
Hey, it's certainly a ton of fun, and I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to get here as well today. Microsoft Office, that #1 seed. Microsoft Teams, that #3 seed. And interesting enough, last year, Microsoft Office placed second, and Microsoft Teams placed fourth. So both of them have moved up at least one seed, now in that championship, looking to claim that dub. The servers are going to be on Denver. The first map will be on Ancient. And I do believe Microsoft Office will be starting on that CT side.
Yeah, a lot of battle lines already being drawn here. A lot on the table, of course, kind of home teams to one another, both representing Microsoft here. Two different departments, of course, but, you know, they're all within the same ecosystem. So excited to see whether or not they're cribbing some information off of one another. We are now diving on into the matchup here. I believe that you're right on your call here, Hot Sauce.
All right, here we go right into Ancient. Again, this is a map that is extremely popular amongst the ESE. I know Season 51 is just wrapping up, ready for the playoffs. So mid presence can be incredibly important here. If you give up too much space or retail free at mid on either side, it can be deadly. Obviously not as important in the first round. We typically see these 5 stacks head a single direction, and maybe going right here. We do see a small rotation coming over from MS, but from Teams rather, but it looks like the stampede about to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. A main through left, right, and center here, as we are looking at an approach here right now in a 2v3 scenario. MS Teams with a little bit of an advantage here, buying a lot of space for themselves, should have a good shot here to be able to push back.
Looking to find a way to push back. It's Luminos who finds that first head, or that second headshot rather, but now on a 2v2, a little game of cat and mouse, and unfortunately Luminos will fall. They'll fake the defusal. They realize he is over here at A main once more, stepping out, shots ringing out, but again, just playing back, looking to buy some time. Out of ammo in the mag, and it's Dad Jorts with Syndicate. Trades back, but no kit time ticking away.
Yeah, very interesting trade right there, and I think it's really showing just kind of the iron will that both of these teams will have. Bomb will explode here. Terrace pick up that first round, but notably, the fact that we're getting such a wide swing into tons of shots being fired means I think we got a very action-packed set of rounds on our side.
Action-packed set of rounds, could be a bit of back and forth. Typically, when you win that first round, you do go on to win the second round as well, though. And so we will see that force coming up on that T side. 3 MAC-10s, a Galil, and an AK versus pretty much a full set of pistols. We will see a Deagle in the hands of Say My Name.
Yeah, Say My Name kind of feeling themselves here, really wants to be able to make a mark, and we did see a good blitz from MS Teams early on in that first round to be able to take down multiple members. They just could not find access to the bomb site fast enough here, and we're going to get a big wide spray there to start things off, wiping out 3 members of Teams. Office definitely building on their advantage.
Looking to build on the advantage, and just like that, the round over that quickly. Timsta, Dad Jorts on the MAC-10 yet again, finding some big picks, but here will be the important round for Microsoft Teams, as they should be able to come into a full buy. We'll have that full set of riflery there as well, and again, you don't necessarily have to get full armor. This round they should, but following, the AK has 1 tap to the head anyway, so once we start to get into these rifle rounds, that's a little extra way they could save some funds.
Got a split run up here. Pass elbow with 3 members on team side. Office trying to answer back. So far traded 1 for 1 as deep into this firefight through smoke. We are going to see health drop, but nobody else fall. Things still relatively even.
Got to leave him for the time being, lurking on the other side of the smoke. The MP9, the jump, but Say My Name will find Timesta. And with that, an early pick here again to swing the player advantage back in the favor of Microsoft Teams. Crofty on the jiggle peak, tucked here with the M4 silenced version. We'll see the barrel stepping out of the crosshair. Dad George never saw it coming, but Luminos quick to trade it back here at mid up into Sniper's Nest. And with that, now will be that solo standing member in a 3v1.
Resources at hand, but notably in kind of a rough position health-wise. Say My Name, also relatively low. There's going to be a lot for this side to try to work through. MS Office have quite the cards stacked against them. Trying to hover through mid right now. Very difficult to try to move to either of the wings on this map. Rotating back over to spawn and looking for more. But now we are going to see teams on the prowl.
Teams on the hunt here. Luminos has to make his way through a couple defenders, steps out, does spot one, has help back. Alley the spray, Luminos hits it. Say My Name will fall. 9 health and a dream here for Luminos as he looks to light up the battlefield here. Pressing on, one tucked in, Jen waiting patiently. Luminos will fall and Microsoft will take the round.
Well, dynamics exactly as you expected here, Hot Sauce, as now we are going to look at a 2-1 scoreline. MS Team's able to bring it back off of a really solid set of buys there. Office, on the other hand, are going to look to try to fight fire with fire here for the most part in terms of what they're purchasing. So we got a very interesting one on our hands. And this is the first one I really feel could go either way after that first round of pistols. Now we are seeing the approach started off with smokes on either side. There's a big swing around the corner. Crofty, realizing so many enemy members are right there, tries to stabilize, will just be shot peeking from multiple angles as now in the eyes of Syndicate, who watch us teams try to work their way in with a grenade.
Yeah, and at the opening play there, Syndicate actually got a double kill while blind from that flash. So coming away with a big play there nonetheless. And we see, a full set of rifles on both of these sides. This is the first round where both teams come into the round with a full buy as well. So both teams wanting to win this round. It's going to help set them up for that following round, and especially the economy. But Jin and looking for a little juice through the smoke. Finds Aiden, gets Timsta as well.
Oh, and what a great way to just preserve momentum moving deeper on into this one. Teams have tied it up and then some in a very comfortable position. And now the question is, how is Office going to try to answer back as the terrorist bomb carrier here going to, I believe, be Timsta? Has been working out decently well so far for this side, but notably Say My Name and company have just been so darn strong working on defenses these last 2 times. The coordination is on top of all things, just very, very solid. Now MS Office are just going to 5-stack, moving up through ramp, trying to get onto the B side here with a big hit, but already Teams is there on the rotation. We got a big firefight. Geralt and Rivia going to be able to take down one and looking for even more. Swapping over to the pistol. They clean up everybody. It's going to be a 4v0 at the end of this all. MS Office feel like they have lost all the momentum.
A huge quadra there for Geralt as they come away with a big 4-piece, and I think I only had 1 health by the end of that round there. So just hanging on by a thread, and we knew this was going to be a very exciting match. Both of these teams very evenly matched here. So a bit of back and forth early, but Microsoft Teams will take the lead for the first time here.
And notably with Teams, think about how many different people have had these highlight moments. Syndicate got 2, Jin cleaned up that last round, and then Geralta Rivia now shining. It's really just going to be a team of certified killers here, all making their mark, and MS Office have to try to rally back on their side. We are going to see Syndicate slowly back off from this angle, rotating over to A. Knowing that someone is in the hallway over to their right should lead to some interesting pushes. But for the time being, MS Office are well spread out. Maybe just trying to take something along these long sight lines through mid. Moose in particular. Just peeking, realizing that MS Teams has somebody stationed far side up there into the Sniper's Nest.
Shots barely missing the head there of that Sniper's Nest. We'll see the raid nade come raining down, and now they begin to work toward Donut here. But Syndicate holding down Donut will find Luminos. Moose gets Crofty on the exchange here at mid, and so both of these players will find a solid pick. Moose up near the steps here has gotten quite a bit of space taken. Timing could be everything. The peek from Donut could come in from Syndicate, and it does. Moose will fall here as well, and with that, some success now in a 4v3.
And this is exactly where MS Teams want to be. Everybody relatively healthy, going to be able to just hit with the man advantage. And we see that usually these 2v1s and such are only going in favor of Teams. It's now across the wall. We are going to see another one dropped. MS Office down to 2, trying to find a way to plant this bomb, but the timer is ticking, and Teams are quite happy with that.
Quite happy at the moment here. Shots ring out. Dad George, the flick of the wrist, looking for the second, and he nails it. Absolutely pumping heads and getting bread. Dad George out here putting on a dominating performance in round number 6. Now through the back alley, Timsta has found one. Gerald another as well. Pressing onto the site. Has been spotted, and Dad George is popping off. Finds a huge round at 3K and will collect the op as well.
And that's how quickly the momentum can shift here. MS teams look to be on a roll, but Office just needed one person to step up to the plate. And thank goodness it was Dad Jorts here making a mark for their team. Things yet again tied 3-3.
All tied up. The economy kind of getting to the point where it's really in shambles for both of these teams. Whoever can win this round most likely would secure that following round as well, or at a minimum force them into that eco round. So a little bit of a 3-2 split at the moment as they begin to work toward both of these sites. And again, mid control can be huge here on Ancient. We'll see if maybe they can gather some of that.
Yep, speaking of split, we are going to see a little navigation through that to elbow up to mid. MS Office want to try to hit this again with at least one to try to hold down the control that MS Teams is trying to get from the high ground advantage. But this is a very wide spread on both sides, so I think we're about to see a lot of individualized firefights. We are going to get a double rotation now, pushing into mid. MS Office maybe trying to make the first move here as they peek on out.
Little smoke toward Nest as well, looking to ensure this pressure here. Now a donut. Syndicate was spotted here last time and has success yet again, finding Moose. An early pick on the player advantage will go to Microsoft Teams.
At the same time, Office was able to reverse the situation. Let's see what they could do now, as teams definitely want to walk away with this one for the economy dynamic that you were talking about there. Losing here could be devastating for your chances of bouncing this one back. As it currently stands, currently in the eyes of Dad Jorts, though, that playmaker from last game took a little bit of poke from early on at 86, and we're now seeing an exchange there going in favor of Timsta, being able to knock out Jin. Things still not even, though. It is a 4v3 in favor of teams.
Do a great job. I mean, Gerald now finding the two-piece. Aiden gets crafty here as well, and it's all down to the op, and not an ideal situation in a 3v1. You might want to think about saving it if at all that's a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, though. Aiden in a really tough spot right now. Pincered in, trying to find a way back. Will actually be able to get a fadeaway kill, and now it's a 2v1, but it's 19 health and a prayer. One walks across the corner. That'll be enough. And so as things currently stand, teams have gotten out to a small lead yet again. But look at that money.
Yeah. Money, the economy, just, you know, we don't talk about it as much, but equally an important aspect of the game. And so we will see MS Office now playing around kind of a couple hero rifles here, the Op and the Galil. They do have a little bit of extra something here to add to it, but now a lot of space being taken at mid here this time from MS Teams.
I like this call. I feel that so far, Office has found the ability to send multiple people into this position. That being said, the stacking, though, is going to punish them elsewhere here, as that is a great setup. Timsta being able to knock down one, and already things going back in favor of MS Office. Perhaps these hero calls are the correct ones to be making here. Crafty around the corner, realizing someone is going to swing into smoke for the time being, and that will not come out fast enough to cover them. They're just going to be knocked down. 2v3 scenario in favor of Office, making a 1v3 as it's only Syndicate left alive. Great stuff from Aiden there on the off in order to secure an overwhelming advantage in this round. All right.
And 3-4, it continues to go back and forth. Sorry. And it looks like, unfortunately for MS Teams, because they are the underdog at this point, they only have the one rifle. The economy is not there. Realistically, the best thing for them to do is potentially just save here, maybe tuck into the corner, see if you can find an exit frag as well. But, I mean, that's best case scenario.
Yeah, well, Syndicate, in fact, is going to be aggressed upon here. Around the corner, will be able to pick up one. So already, keeping things relatively stable here, will save for future. But that is Office, tying things back up yet again.
Back and forth. We knew it was going to be an exciting match, and certainly hasn't disappointed. 4-4 already through this first half, and not a ton of rounds left here as well. 2 more rounds for either team would secure them a minimum of a tied half, and for MS Teams, unfortunately, again, that economy is all but dwindled away, so going to be playing around this hero rifle once more.
It it's a very, very tough scenario to be in, particularly as we're already seeing Jin go worryingly low in this matchup. MS Office with a few fadeaway shots there. Molly coming out now. Geralta Rivia will be able to try to rotate out of this one and get to safety. Being said, on the other side, Timsa's not so lucky, so we do have a 5v4 scenario, but these are some waning health bars on the side of teams.
Yeah, MS Team's not a lot of health. Moose going to take advantage of that, finds Jin and Gerald. Luminos gets Syndicate, Aiden on as well, and back and forth, but this time it's all MS Office, only losing a single member, and they'll regain the lead once more.
And it feels like the dam may have broken here, Hot Sauce, but the last time I expected that, we got a big reversal, but notably here, economy for the side of MS Teams coming through from that last round is kind of in tatters right now. They are going to play conservatively on their buys, it looks like, as we dive into the next one. MS Office need to win here and now, though. Any big hiccups can immediately send things into a tailspin. You do not want to, when you're in this kind of momentous position, give things away to a team that are already proven to be very, very tough customers.
You can hear the shots ringing out on both sides. There's the op, and Aiden will find Jin, who steps into the crosshair. Moose, in the meantime, found a headshot on to say my name, and they continue to find these early picks and give themselves that player advantage. One rifle there for Crofty, but it's quickly dropped off. The headshot rains down, and Gerald, barely able to brush off that haircut, has to dip back into cave here. Only 19 health remaining.
MS Office yet again in a very favorable position here, and then Teams has to make the decision. Are we just going to try to make a play here? Are we going to instead look for a fadeaway frag? What exactly can we do? I think that right now, Geralt, for as much as his heroics from earlier on in this matchup definitely still remain in memory, there's very little you can do when down this much. That being said, Office almost lose one, but Moose with a big flick right there will be able to answer back. And this is now looking quite rough for Teams.
MS Office will secure that minimum tied half here as well. We'll see if MS Teams can begin to battle back. And Office was the slightly higher seed, only by a couple, but again, it's been a good back and forth so far. A lot of these maps do tend to favor the CT side just a little bit, but I mean, it's such a minuscule number that it really, I think, kind of depends on the team and how well they execute onto the site, along with the use of utility.
Speaking of the utilization of utility, see some mollies dropped there in order to block off some of the approach paths for these sides. MS Office free firing, trying to stack multiple people across the corner. To good effect for right now. They are in a 5v4 scenario. Geralta Rivia taken out early in this one, but with those waning health bars, MS Teams could try to strike back. Maybe go for a multi-man shove. We are seeing multiple people down in alley and back halls trying to make their way onto the B side, which is well and truly in control on multiple angles over to MS Office. We got one flanker now coming in from this other side. Unfortunately, going to be called out quite quickly, and now it's a 2v4 scenario. Good thing to get one fadeaway here, but MS Office is quite strong. Once again, crossing up the far side. Syndicate in a desperate situation here alongside Jin. I don't think they're going to be able to find their way in.
Yeah, time ticking away. It's best to just save the weapons and the economy that you do have. So with that, the bomb will go off. They're on the hunt. I think they heard one. Moose falls here as well. And now Jin, cat and mouse around the box, will be able to secure the weapon. So not a complete loss here for MS Teams. And with that, they'll still have another opportunity to make it a 7-5, which is not a bad half. It's still something that you can work with. It's still feasible, that you could come away with the win from that. So we'll see if they can maybe get this final round of the first half.
Jin played with fire, yet still is able to keep the op until the very end here. So MS Office will need to have to deal with this player, who is currently, I think, the centerpiece for the team side, just in terms of economy. And already, one loss, say my name, getting the long shot versus Moose, and Jin will be able to use that op to great effect. And now, this is a way for MS Teams to get towards that vaunted 5-7 that you're talking about, Hot Sauce. We've seen so many things from this position that I wouldn't even call it a comeback.
He said, I wouldn't even call it a comeback just yet. I mean, both of these teams have been back and forth here. Office looking to run away with it, and Dad Jorts, about 3 or 4 rounds ago, really came alive and hasn't slowed down since. They continue to look for this mid control and try to find a way to pressure forward here. We see that smokes come in. That will buy a little bit of time. They're going to smoke off Donut here as well, and maybe potentially look to work through Sniper's Nest.
This is a very interesting position now. almost about as even as you can get. MS Office down 1, but I do like the rifles that they have. A lot of momentum as well. These are some of the top players that are sitting at the very highest point of the leaderboards for Office. Yet again, trying to find a flank, trying to find an angle. You do have a sneaky maneuver through the mid here, all the way up. Trying to get an angle on alleys, but no, they are going to just find pain. MS teams are going to open up upon 2, and now it is just Tim still left. Teams will be able to grab this and move to 5-7.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like a round that was favoring Microsoft Office there, but Teams able to pull that back. A nice shot from Say My Name, then Jarrett following up quickly as well. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, it's a little hard not to bust into Destiny's Child right now if I'm going to have to keep saying Say My Name this much. But certainly doing a great performance here for the first half. 9-9 for them, 8-12-6 on the other side of things. So we do see a few members on both sides here have reached double digits.
Yeah, it's great that you have these front runners, but frankly, everybody has been a contributor for both of these sides. So I don't know what Microsoft has cooking, but they got some fantastic CS players across the map, as this is a very desperate fight on the side swap already. Rolling right back, we are going to see multiple people swing the corner. Geralt with the fadeaway, but look at how many people fall in sequence. Barely health available for Timsa and company, but it's all up to Jin to try to make the most of this situation. Picks off 1. Notably, Luminos in a very advantageous position. Still just gets knocked. Jin somehow bringing this back from the brink. Aiden going to get the plant.
Yeah, and I think it's 3 health to 17 health, so just one simple bullet to the body could be the end for either of these members, both wanting to win the pistol round here because it does help set the pace, kind of dictate the tone of those first couple. Oh! Aiden waiting patiently, and I'm surprised we didn't see a little more patience from the T side. It's up to these counter terrorists to push in there and find that diffusal so you can really kind of make them work toward you. Look to eat up as much time off the clock as you can, or off that bomb rather, but Aiden doing a good job remaining patient, slowly pushing forward, finding the pick and the defusal. An absolute huge first round in the second half here for MS Office.
And as much as things change, they also stay the same. There's going to be a larger lead now jumped out to by MS Office. And talked about the dynamics first and second round. If we start doing the mental math in terms of predictions, MS Office are in a really good shape here. MS teams not able to make the most off of that last fadeaway round that they were able to pick up on the other half of this game. But now we are going to see Moose just free fire. And that could be enough for something to be made out of this one for MS Office. Still up ahead. Syndicate already dead. But Geralta, Rivia, and Say My Name are both available. 2 of those top contenders.
2 top contenders. Crofty looking to make their way through mid. Jin, Geralt over hanging up here near Xbox, near Heaven's side, as the bomb is down on that near that T ramp on the B side. We do see that rotation coming around on the mini map as maybe a little bit of uncertainty, but it looks like we might be pushing B site here momentarily.
Yeah, very interesting as it currently stands here. It feels as if Office are a little bit too wary about poking their heads out, very much hanging back towards their spawn side. They have 1 far forward here without defense, about to get pincered past house into B site, though. They need to be careful.
Gotta be careful. Coming through cave here. They have Dad Jorts holding this angle for them as well. Looking to use that pillar for cover. Dad finds one. Crofty quick to get the trade. Say My Name, and Jen find a bunch as well. And with that, after being down a player, they now have the player advantage too, sifting their way through back alley. That's going to be Luminos and Aiden here as they begin to work toward the site. Looks to check the smoke. I don't think they realize there is one still tucked pillar, and they have to deal with cave. Find one at cave. Luminos on the Jen. Now from pillar. Luminos is absolutely on fire.
And I feel like Luminos should not have been afforded that position, but maybe a bit of a mistake on comms. Regardless, this is going to lead to an attempted defusal. 2v1 scenario for the time being. Office are able to pick it up.
Oh, Nyarko, I don't know if we lost Nyarko there for a second or not. Oh, I definitely hear you now. But yeah, I mean, an insane back and forth there. And I mean, we saw him stick the defusal. We saw initially the fake, but just, I think, waiting for the other member who had the defusal kit to get on it. So a nice stick, had the teammate there to spray through the smoke and kind of make sure that, they couldn't push back in to prevent were denied that defuse going out. So 9-5, they bring that round back. An important round here for MS Teens at near full buy, and they've got to start to find a couple rounds in succession here if they want to bring this one back.
I would agree with that. MS Office, though, have such a solid dynamic on their side in terms of the way that they're hitting these sites, the way that they're coordinating. I noted a bit of a hiccup there in terms of having one person really overextended on the B side, but the rotations were on point. MS teams just were unable to answer back, particularly against how solid some of this gunplay has been. Close ranges, the 1v1s, the 2v2s, very much going in favor of MS Office, as this time around that 1v1 will actually go in favor of teams. Good stuff to start things off. Lumino's going to be able to kill Say My Name on the back end of that, though.
Ooh, the controlled spray coming in from Crofty up top. We'll find the head of Ada, and quick to trade back, though. Timsta on the Crofty, not quite forward enough to find that AK, though. But now with Dad George picking off Syndicate, will be able to upgrade to the Galil, and now back to a 3v2. I mean, even though it's 9-5, it could be much closer. That number doesn't do these rounds justice. A lot of these could have gone either way.
Long angle being contested here. Jin dropping to 17 off of that exchange. 2v2 scenario. Looking very, very close in terms of resources. But Geralto Rivia is going to die on a wide swing. And now MS Office are back up.
And here's the only kind of, I guess, a little bit scary part right now is that this was Microsoft Teams map pick as well, as we see now. Just one left alone. Luminos will find Jin. And with that, another round win. They'll double that lead. And I guess it might be a little scary, but at the history of CEA, a lot of times the other team wins the other team's map pick. So normally I'd be a little bit worried, but just due to the history, we've seen a lot of crazy things happen here.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out for. Of course, next map going to be Inferno. Big deciding factor, of course. I think that map is going to be a real test for both of these teams in terms of coordination. But as we are here, and could be the fading light of Ancient, MS Office are on quite the buy right now.
Yeah, stacks in the bank, and it makes it tough if you're on the other side as well. You've got to try to eco together. You want to stay around that $1,800 mark. We do see Say My Name getting a little bit dangerously low. Now, it does depend on that loss bonus as well. You can get up to 5 ticks there and kind of get a little extra funds as time goes on. So an eco here will ensure that they can full buy in that following round, but they really need to make sure they win that following round as well, or MS Office will be sitting at match point.
All right, well, this is already a big rush coming on out from Geralto Rivia and company. Unfortunately, a peppering of shots from far behind is going to lead to already a very dire scenario in terms of the health bars of multiple MS Teams members. Geralt trying to stabilize here, free fire across the way, but that is going to be Crofty and Syndicate, bringing things right back over to MS Teams. Now it's a 3v4 scenario. Office maybe overplaying their hand a little bit here, trying to stabilize. Tim's on top of it, attempting to do their best work. And that is going to be a 3v2 now as things get traded yet again.
Yeah, and Say My Name finding that with a Tech 9. Now on the long lurking flank, though, Luminos will find Jin. Dad Jorts on the other side of things got Say My Name as well. And just like that, we're back to a 2v1 Syndicate, who has played very well throughout this tournament. Is going to be all alone here, and health not quite in their favor. The weaponry favoring MS Office as well. So going to be a tough, but at a minimum, should be able to find the plant over here on the B site and earn some extra funds.
Well, the plant will come out B site for now. And Office are just going to double stack an approach through the back halls. On the other side of things, it will be teams with the full rotation coming on out of Syndicate. Looking to now go for the rehit as they realize that the defuse must be coming through right about now. It's time to peek the corner. Looking for 2. Swing manages to get 1, but there's the answer right back.
Able to collect that kit. So luckily for them, a teammate had a kit. That'll make that defusing process just a little bit easier. And with that, they'll go up 11-5, 1 away from match point 2, away from closing it out. But we will remind everybody, it is a best of 3, so regardless, there's still at least one more map to be played here today.
And I believe that is Jin going back onto the operator here for the side of MS Teams. Or Sorry, I was saying that my Valorant vocabulary wouldn't affect me here, but the AWP, the AWP this time around, going to be in the hands of Jin. See what the answer is going to be, as it's full rifle time for MS Office to make the most of the situation. They did drop a lot on utility, but it is an econ advantage, at least for this round, over to teams in regards to what they have left. Looking to drive home a victory here and hopefully stem the bleeding. They will be able to pick up Moose to start things off.
He comes in to dissipate the smoke, but Timestar waiting patiently will find the op. Say my name, quick to trade it back, though. And with that, I have an opportunity to pick up that op, but who else? Aiden lurking through the smoke as well. It's not often there's two of them there, but a great job of mixing up the stretch. Gerald, though, stepping out, finds one. Dad Jorts will get Syndicate as well, and now back to a 2v1 yet again.
And I think that Geralta Rivia is very happy to be in this situation. Same thing with Crofty. Now, they are up against Dad Jorts, who has clutched out a situation like this before. But Geralt, at the same time, has quite the pedigree behind them. One of the top fraggers here for MS team side. Plan to be had, relatively secure. Dad Jorts needing to try to find a way in. Going to choke up through the lamp room. Needs to hit this B site, but unfortunately, the sightlines are just so well positioned for MS teams to just walk through this all. Smoke going to obscure their approach is now they're right on top of the Eagle's nest, and that is going to be Geralt free firing and picking one up.
Love to see it here as they're able to cut this lead down just by a little bit. And if you look at the other side of things here for MS Office, I mean, the economy has dwindled away for the majority of the members, just one here. So we could see them potentially, you know, I think that's Dad Jorts up there, could buy some Deagles or MP9s for the crew. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and force into this. Honestly, though, you have rounds to give. It's best to just eco together, save up a couple rounds while you have them to give, and then look to close it out. Things like this, if you don't win these rounds, could allow your opponents back in the game.
Yeah, multiple MPs and pistols coming out, and that's actually going to be enough for them to blitz down Geralta Rivia at the very start of this. So now in a 4v5 scenario, the ability to begin to pick up things like that AK, I don't know, Office may be gambling, but it seems like they also have stacked the deck. The 4v5 going to continue. This is a very dicey one around the corner. Timsta, once the smoke dissipates, going to be in a whole world of hurt. Jin back on the op here. Unable to find a pickup just to start things off. Very narrow margins as we're getting a double stack in lamp room for MS Office side as teams are looking to wrap around into B site through ramp. And that is going to be one taken down on Office's side. Team's in a happy position here off the back of Jin, but Luminos with a pistol takes down the offer, and now we're all of a sudden in a 4v2 in favor of Office.
That 5.7 is so dirty. One of my favorite pistols, and putting in the work there. Luminos able to upgrade the weapon here as well, and we do see him kind of shifting toward cave side. Excuse me. Bomb still down here at B ramp as well. Crofty is going to find Dad Jorts though, and now from a 4v2 to a 2v3, a little bit more reasonable and something that they can potentially work with here.
Notably, Moose has gone on to op though, picking that up from Jin. Can use that for the rest of this matchup. Unfortunately, I don't think there's that many long sight lines to profit off of in this situation. It's going to be MS teams, the last two members, trying to play Smash Mouth to preserve their investment. Crossing the corner here, and it's still Moose finding one with the op. Karate goes down, and now it's all up to Say My Name, who doesn't have a prayer of being able to bring this one back. MS Office get the defuse, and beyond that, they move up to match point.
Yeah, already at match point here, and the crazy thing is they're going to have 6 additional rounds to close it out as well. So, I mean, MS Teams is going to have to win 6 in a row, nearly flawless as well if they want to keep that economy stacked, and you know, if members die, they can afford to buy. So, no easy task. It's not impossible, but it's certainly improbable. We'll see if they can pull off the upset.
Jin going down to the big O to get the op back into their pocket here. Moose, of course, has their op from the last matchup, and so this is a very difficult fight to take. Luckily for the side of teams, though, that is going to be Crofty already picking off one of the major players for the side of Office. And now we're going to see the stack right back, though, as that is going to be Crofty dying to Moose and company, dropping that op. Now at a 4v4, what I'm looking at now is just that these health bars are still relatively high. We're just going to play some classic good old man down CS.
Here at mid, pressing toward the donut. Dad Jorts waiting. Geralt will fall. And now that could spell trouble for MS teams. Say my name, dangerously low, just 14 health here as they tuck into the cubby, looking to clear out all of Donut. And it can be a hard little space to clear here as well. Plus, there are two at Sniper's Nest beginning to make their way out through mid.
Oh, no!
He doesn't check the angle. And with that, it'll be a free pick. They spot the one at Donut, but Dad Jorts will find the head of Syndicate. Moose on the op will get Say My Name. And now it's all down to Mr. Jin himself.
Jin still in possession of the op. Can bring it back from the knife's edge. But MS Office has proven time and time again that they are watertight in these scenarios. Big rotation from Jin. Trying to bring this all the way over to B. We are getting the double stack from MS Office to be able to match this. They are reading what teams are doing. And it becomes a good old firefight at the end of this all. Plant go to come through.
See that Molly come in as well. They're going to look to play together here. They don't want to allow them to have too many 1v1s.
Oh!
Jin isolating the 1v1. You don't want it with an op. Luminos up close. Personal, but it's Jin who says, I'm not ready to go silently into the night. MS team still hanging around, and Office not able to close it out just yet.
Great stuff from teams, bringing it back. For a while there, it really did not look possible, but Office maybe a little bit too cocky, over-invested in a lot of these trades mid, and at the end of that all, Jin stood tall to be able to bring the terrorist side another victory. Now, as we go towards rotation, one thing to note here is the Econ, MS Office, going to maybe be conceding this one, given how much MS Teams has over them in the material advantage. Just wanting to try to bring it back, using that cushion of multiple rounds that we were talking about, Hot Sauce, to try to get things in their favor later.
Yeah, it's a smart decision to go ahead and eco up now while you have the rounds to give. And if we could be blessed by a taser here from Timsta, I certainly would be giddy inside. But Geralt's going to start it off here, finding the headshot onto Luminos. And with that, will alleviate some of the pressure, a little bit of breathing room as they look to ease into these sites. They must realize that the eco round is upon them, and Crofty popping off on their own anti-eco. Dad Jorts will go down and back to a 5v3. They've taken complete control of the A site as Crofty finds one more at mid.
It doesn't even look like we're going to get the chance to trade back here from MS Office. Teams in great position. We'll be able to just get the 5 wipe, and that's a great way to go out. Crofty on top there with the most kills.
Yeah, I mean, Geralt getting the knife at the end. We know he's a master of the blades, and now showcasing it here in CS as well. Wrapping up that round with a knife kill. Not an easy feat, and maybe that could be the single spark that ignites the spectral fire here for MS teams as they look to battle their way back in. Another eco round here, a scrappy one for MS Office, so MS teams should be able to clutch this one up as well.
Now, Office are playing smart. They are going for eco rounds, but on top of that, I do believe that they need to start taking away some of the value that MS teams have accrued round after round. If they keep letting this go 0-5 in favor of MS teams, this isn't going to matter too much. You're going to be able to stack up to maybe even for one of these at the end, but with teams on fire and with all the momentum on their side, I feel like Jin and company are quite empowered to just bring this back.
Looking to bring it back one round at a time, one kill at a time. Luminos out. Cheeky spot. Syndicate able to duck under, finds one, but the trade does come in. They'll be able to upgrade the weapon here as well. And Aiden has spotted one into Donut. Continues to pressure in through flames and will be chopped down. Crofty on a triple kill. Absolutely tearing through the competition. And I think that spark did light a fire because MS team's looking dangerous.
Yeah, we talked about over-investments, and there we see it, a 3-stack pushing into totals for MS Office, and it just goes absolutely nowhere. Teams just with a rock-steady hold of that A side are able to take this now to a 12-9 scoreline, and while things are still on the brink, they look very confident here, evenly matched on Econ to face off against MS Office, who this time around will be investing their dollars.
Yeah, 3 rounds in a row. The loss bonus has begun to build up here for Office, and with that, they force in. They have the op, the rifles here as well. Crofty finds the first Moose on a trade back, though, and we'll be right back to a 4v4, but not for long. Picks coming in yet again. Office will lose another. Garrett dangerously low here with only 16 health. Will be caught with utility in hand, and with that, Luminos comes out on top.
Jin still has the op. That is enough to make a team into its own right here for MS teams. And with Say My Name and Syndicate at their back, this is still looking quite tough for Office, who are putting quite a bit of their eggs into this basket here, Hot Sauce. You drop this one here, and all of a sudden, that gap in Nikon becomes ever wider, and we may be looking at a 12-12 at the end of this all.
It's going to be tough. Luckily, they have that loss bonus to work with. Would still be able to find a full buy at a minimum 2 rounds away. Say My Name. In a good position here for post plant. And with that, it's now up to Office to work their way back in here. Moose and crew, a lot of utility still here. Aiden found a snipe through the smoke. What's going on? The defusal comes in. Oh my, but they weren't sure who was going to defuse it. Both looking at the bomb, and Say My Name peeks through the smoke and leaves them with no hope.
12-10, and there we talk about the overinvestment. Look at just how much money the team side has. They can't drop any more rounds, but I don't think that they feel like they are going to anymore, as we're going right back to pistols for Office.
Yeah, it's a smart decision. You have another round to give. Unfortunately, we see someone sneaking in a buy there, and they need to stay around that $1,800 mark. They could potentially get down to maybe $1,400 or $1,500 because they are near that full loss bonus. But again, maybe flirting with disaster there as they're taking a gamble. Jin coming out on top this time for Timsta. Luminos has done a good job lurking with these pistols. Had a lot of luck with the 5.7 earlier. We can see if maybe Crofty will get a little impatient and give him an opportunity.
Well, Dad Jorts is one of those players that, you know, I have confidence in being able to put a team on their back. But yeah, this seems like a very weird investment right now. We'll be able to make it a 4v5 with Aiden getting a headshot onto Jin. What this means is that the pace of teams is going to slow down dramatically here. They do not want to give away this golden opportunity to bring a game back from the brink.
Yeah, and with that headshot as well, if they can get up there just a little bit, they'll be able to pick up that rifle and begin to maybe swing a little of that momentum into their favor. A lot of space has been taken over today, and Crofty does find Luminos there with that 5.7, so we might see the Stampede come shortly after that toward the A site.
Yeah, this is going to be a big roll here. Big split as well. MS Office trying to find their way in. Unfortunately, driven back towards 2. But the same can be said for teams. The Syndicate will be able to knock out Dad Jorts. It is a 1v2. Pistols on the board. So now teams will be able to confidently get the plant here. Deagle for Moose. Can they find anyone? And the answer is no. We're 11-12.
11-12, not a bad eco round for Office, though. They find quite a few picks. They have now built up that economy. Everybody will have that full buy here with an opportunity to close it out 13-11 and wrap it up. But again, they have at a minimum guaranteed themselves an overtime. So now all that pressure still here on MS teams to look to extend the series, or the game rather, into overtime.
All right, Molotov to start things off. Going to lead to a little bit of a repulsion here from Crofty and company. Trying to just walk back. Wants to be respectful of this. Well, you do see a little bit of health poke on either side. It's nothing major. And as soon as I say that, Aiden is going to go worryingly low here. One of the riflemen for the team, Geralt Arivia, fighting first actual blood, though, in what could be the final round, unless MS teams have something to say about it. Now in a 4v5 scenario, MS Office needs to try to stabilize.
Unfortunately, they're stalling out at mid here, and there is a flank coming from behind on this B site from Heaven's side. Unfortunately for them, Syndicate spots it first. Timsta will fall, and that'll open up a lot more opportunities here for MS teams. They have some options. They can potentially work back toward B site as we see a little bit of a mini rotation coming in from MS Office, but they are going to be outnumbered, and this could be very tough for them.
Yeah, 5-stack blitz in from this side. Office trying to answer back. Will be able to, in fact, pick up 2 off the back of Moose and company. And now in a 3v3, this is all of a sudden looking so much better for Office than I was expecting. Op available, and now that's going to be another kill. Geralt Arivia falling. It's a 2v2 due to the hard work of Crofty, but can they actually stabilize here is the question. Plant going to come through, but now Dad Jorts will be pushing in alongside Luminos.
They have to try to work this together. Unfortunately, they are holding that angles. Hopefully at the back of sight, they can make a little bit of noise, but it doesn't look like Cave is biting. Steps into the crosshair. Crofty finds Luminos, and now they know exactly where Dad Jorts is as well. It's going to come all down to this 2v1. Dad Jorts slowly making their way in, but timing's everything, and it doesn't work out in their favor after being down by several rounds. MS teams finds a way to climb back into this one, and well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to overtime.
Don't think I was expecting this whatsoever, Hot Sauce. Not because these two teams don't have pedigrees, just because of how strong that first part of this game felt in favor of our wonderful all-stars there in the form of Dadjorts and company. But it is a very good showing here from both sides to bring us to a 12-12. And I think we got a real series on our hands. Perhaps for once in our life, when we cast together, we will be able to get the third game of a best of 3.
Hey, it might happen. And I mean, it just goes to show you how much, Counter-Strike can be a game of runs back and forth in momentum. But speaking of runs, Moose looking to run away with it, finding a 2K with the op. And with that, will give his team that 2-player advantage, allowing him to slow down, be patient, hold the sites that they're currently on, can work off of a 2-1-2 split. I'm not sure that they're aware that the bomb is down on this B ramp, but still able to hang tight. We'll spot him in the crosshair. Sprays going out. Damage being exchanged in both directions here, but nobody falling just yet.
And Moose is a player that I feel like we need to feature a little bit more. We've been talking so much about how Jin has been performing on the op, but frankly, MS Office have a killer in their own right on this. Scoped on in, looking for somebody to just swing wide. Nobody on this angle for the time being, though, as we are going to get a full flat-out rotation here from Geralt to Rivia, carrying this over to A.
Yeah, he's got 2 members that have already worked their way into Donut through the tunnel section here, and with that, they'll be able to get a little intel, and only 1 on A here for MS Office, so they've guessed correctly. They could have potentially that player advantage momentarily if they're able to stampede onto the site here, find a pick, and then look to work off of that. Tim still only has 18 health as well. As they begin to slowly but methodically make their way onto the site with that pick. Luminos will fall. The rotation will come in. Dadjorts finding the first one through the smoke, but it's Say My Name who comes out the victor.
Battle lines drawn as a 3v2. Say My Name. Such a rock for the side of teams. Now looking for even more. Crofty going worryingly low on these trades. And I think a 1v3 scenario is untenable for the side of teams. Office wants to try to bring it back. Unfortunately, they are going to lose 1. Now here's the trade. Say My Name gone. It's all up to Crofty.
All down to Crofty in a 2v1. He's been spotted. The sprays come in, and a big round to start overtime off here for MS Offices. They'll collect that op here, I believe. Maybe an AK. They're trying to figure it out. Going to toss the AK to the buddy. Collect the op, and with that, Office will take that lead one more time here in overtime, but they got to get a couple more if they want to close it out.
Oh, absolutely. And we have seen the capacity for them to jump out to these kinds of leads, but also the capacity for MS teams to bring this right back in an instant. We are going to have Jin back onto the op yet again, full buy, a lot invested here. Of course, there was quite the solid nest egg from the end of that main game now into overtime. As it looks like the same kind of spending patterns are going to come into play. Op going to be answered back on Moose's side, though, in control of this, wants to be able to duel with it.
Shots ringing out here. Syndicate finding some sprays. Does drop down here by Xbox. Tucked into the corner. Aiden in the cubby here as well. Will be smoked off. The pop flash over the top, and we'll try to work off of that. Aiden looking for a little intel. Again, flirting with disaster as that smoke will begin to dissipate here very shortly.
Yep, dies on Heaven. Really dicey scenario. That was the closest contact we get, as now teams just want to try to shove through. Going to be traded back. Syndicate kills Aiden. Aiden kills Geralt. Dadjorts is going to be able to mop that up, though, as now Jin kills Luminos to bring this back to a 2v3 teams in a scramble situation. Have their opera on barely any life.
Barely any life left here, but I mean, if you're gonna have no life left, the op is the best weapon for you to have. It's a one-hitter quitter for the majority of the time, and so something that you can still work with a bit. That bomb all the way toward the B site. We see a rotation coming in here from MS Office as well, and things about to get a little bit more dicey.
Office just going to jam 2 through the backhauls for the time being. Got a double stack coming down ramp as well for the side of teams, and as it currently stands, Timsta just wants to be able to pick this off and totally imbalance things, firing through smoke. What a highlight there at the very end, as that's going to be Jin knocked down. 3 left standing for Office to go up 14-12.
14-12. Getting very close to being able to close it out here. And only one round left here in the CT side of overtime for Dadjorts and crew as well. So if they could get 3 to start off overtime, it would make that next half a little bit smoother sailing here. We'll see if they can clinch it up.
definitely have the econ advantage here. Jin with basically nothing after trying to go for the op back-to-back. And that being said, may not matter. Geralt of Rivia is going to imbalance things immediately, knocking out Moose on one side. So teams feel like they're in a solid position here. 4v5 scenario. We are getting free fire. Tim's trying to find somebody through the smoke. Will not be able to catch anybody. But we got a full-on firefight. It's a 4-stack now. Team's just trying to jam. Geralt of Rivia around the corner, waiting for things to dissipate. In order to open up. Big swing coming out of the smoke. Actually going to go in favor of teams here, as now they will wipe out everybody one after the other and bring it to a 14-13.
Yeah, I mean, why else wouldn't they? I mean, we might have a couple overtimes coming ahead of us here as these two teams continue to battle back and forth. But at least for Office, they were able to find 2 that round. So they get a little bit of a breathing room. Like we mentioned earlier, CT side is a little bit more favorable, and maybe a bit of a technical issue here as Syndicate will drop out and look to reboot just quickly here. But take a look at those kills. I mean, at least 4 of these 5 members here into that 20 bomb. We can't see the other one. And everybody on the other side dangerously close as well. It just goes to show you how equally talented both of these teams are here tonight.
Yeah, bringing it so close in game number 1. And like you said, there's plenty of beyond this as well. We are at least getting to Inferno, if not even more. In terms of map selection, I really do think that they'll be playing for everything at any given point in time. No reconnect quite yet. Pause still going on for teams to get, I believe, their leader back into the call.
Yeah, you know, as much as we love technology, we all know that it doesn't always work out like we would to. But Syndicate quick to get back into the game here. So has loaded back in. We'll get this game underway here for you shortly. Again, 13-14 right now in favor of MS Office, who is that number 1 seed, taking on Microsoft Teams, who currently is that number 3 seed here again in this grand finale, this 2024 Fall Corporate Charity Championship, brought to you by CEA. And the winner is going to take all here tonight. Got to get those bragging rights, you know?
Absolutely. Around the office as well. You can look right into the eye of your competitors. Well, I guess I don't know how remote they are these days, but, you know, perhaps through the Zoom call, you're also going to be able to make remarks. Teams call. I'm sorry, Microsoft.
Yeah. Shots exchanged here toward the B site through the smoke. No real damage done just yet. As say my name, we'll get a slight haircut, drop down to 74, and a bit of back and forth utility will rain down on both of these sides. But you take a look at that mini map there, and you'll see MS Teams just doing a good job of not overbiting, kind of remaining patient. Unfortunately, they do lose that first pick, and that's going to give a little bit room for Office to kind of decide where they want to go or potentially work and look through mid.
Yeah, big stacks for MS Office are possible here. We have seen them play the blitz style before. Actually, though, I think the last time that happened, it went in favor of teams. And we can see after that trade that we actually do have 2 people on precarious life bars now for Office's side. Now it's just going to be a raw 4v4. Crafty getting some crafty shots there through the smoke.
Getting crafty with it. And Crafty getting crafty with it again. Aiden, now Luminos will at least get a consolation prize here now. All the way from downtown, the Molly, the shot. It's all good, and Office will have the player advantage.
Teams not in dire straits quite yet. We have seen them take these kinds of matchups one way or the other. Geralt of Rivia in particular knows how to play against the pressure, but Office are coordinating well, playing this incredibly slowly. They are inching up towards that A site for the plans.
Luminos going to find the first one. Syndicate back to Moose, and just like that, Office will wrap it up. But I mean, this is where Microsoft Teams now begins to shine, when their backs are against the wall. I believe it was a 12-6, 12-7 earlier at match point. They got 5 rounds in a row at one point to put it into overtime. So, yeah, you know, Office might be one away from clutching up the dub, but this is, again, where Microsoft Teams has, you know, kind of shined in the past. So we'll see if they're able to reel it back and give us a second overtime here on Ancient.
Well, they got the money to put it on Jin. That is going to be another op picked up for this player. And that's the big balance maker, I think, for the side of teams to try to make something of it. But while I talk about the op, it's 2 of Jin's compatriots taken down in an instant with a massive swing here from Office's Aiden. Will eventually be taken out in kind, but it's a 3v4 in favor of Office, and they're looking to put this away.
Looking to put it away. Syndicate has other plans, though, able to find the equalizer back to a 3v3 as they pick off Luminos, and Jin just trying to find an angle through all of these smokes. We can hear the plant has already gone down, so has to work back through spawn. All three members from teams coming this way as well as they look to try and find ways to clear the site. The flash is a huge one, but they don't swing off of it. Moose finds one with a nade.
Oh my goodness.
While partially blind, finding the headshot on the Moose to look to pop the smoke and see if they can get the ninja to fuse the spray through, and it's Timsta and Dad Jorts to combine for the dub.
Wow. MS Office. What a showing right there at the end, demonstrating why they were on top for so much of that matchup, Hot Sauce. Eventually, they will be able to take it in a fraught overtime scenario, and now momentum moving on to their map pick.
Yeah, it's interesting enough. I didn't even expect to get to overtime. I'm not going to lie. It was 12-6 at one point. And again, so hats off to Microsoft Teams for fighting through, for trudging through the trenches, and really showing up through the grit there to fight back into this one. So, I think that gives them enough confidence to go into this next map, with the feeling that they can certainly win and extend the series into a best of three. But Microsoft Office looking very, very good. They stumbled a little bit at the middle of the match, but really locked it down when they needed to.
Yeah, I really do think that it becomes a matter of both of these teams playing their style, but also being deferent and respectful of what the other set of players are packing. Because my goodness, whenever we saw an overinvestment, whenever we saw Office say, hey, let's wrap it up, guys, we're super ahead, it was that time in which we saw teams get the pushback, right? And I think that it comes down to just a little bit of overconfidence, not realizing how close to seeing these two teams are and how close both of them are to actually claiming the championship here in the CCC.
Hey, Inferno is a map that I used to love. It's kind of gotten on my bad side a little bit recently. It can be very, very hard to deal with, but utility can make that a little bit easier. There's a lot of great spots in apps here for maybe some taser kills. I saw the taser whipped out a couple of times, so we very well could be seeing a fun being had out there. But you definitely have to have a very good cohesive unit when attacking on Inferno. So I'm excited for this one nonetheless. We'll see if Microsoft Office can close it out in two. They want to break out the brooms. I'd love to go to a best of three, though.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it is incredibly difficult, it seems, for us to be able to get to a very competitive series. At least this time around, I feel it into my bones, Hot Sauce. I really do think that if not we just get it, we at least get a taste of another overtime and a very, very close matchup, regardless of what the actual record is at the end of the day. Let's throw it over to a quick break, though, as we prepare to get on into this next map. We'll see you guys soon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 2024 Fall Corporate Charity Championship, brought to you by CEA. One exciting match already done and dusted. Headed on over to Inferno this time as MS Office looks to close it out in 2. We'll see if MS Teams can extend it on to Dust 2, where that third map will be if we happen to get there.
I think that they got a shot at it, Hot Sauce. At the very least, they put MS Office very much back on the back foot for many rounds in a row, and from there, almost were able to mount an incredible comeback. If they're able to stabilize slightly better earlier on in the match, that could have easily been theirs, and I feel like this time around, they're not going to be making the same mistakes.
Yeah, and the map layout is so much different here on Inferno than it is at Mirage, and or at Mirage, excuse me, than at Ancient. But mid presence a huge thing there on Ancient. It really allows you to work through multiple different sites there. But here through Inferno, it's either up banana or toward apartments. You have mid and that side mid apps to work with, but other than that, it can be tough to deal with. A lot of teams kind of start off by just chucking those nades down banana, so you have to be careful of maybe not getting too aggressive, but at the same time, you can't allow them to peek you at mid. So it can be tough to deal with, but I mean, it's a map that's been around since the beginning of time. So I'm sure all of the players very comfortable with Inferno.
Yeah, definitely the case. I mean, we've gotten map bans already coming through, so at this point, that everybody has had plenty of practice and also doesn't just straight up despise these maps. That's always a good way to start talking about things. We do get a really good fadeaway shot to start things off there. MS Team is going to be able to get one low and now make that one dead as well. Luminous dying in the duel versus Syndicate as we are getting just a complete mob sweep down towards that truck cemetery.
Yeah, Crofty finding the 2-piece. The plant will look to go down here is from Library. We can see one on the jiggle. That is going to be Moose here. Looking to find something with that P2000. Mad respect there as I like that weapon over the USP as well. But Jin on the Glock. Geralt as well. And MS Teams this time starting it out on the right foot, 1-0.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Hot Sauce. I do believe Teams was up at the very beginning. I could be wrong about that. It was actually Office that won that first game. But regardless, good showing from them and a lot of confidence to be able to play that style. Aggressive, yet at the same time, feathering the gas pedal when need be in order to get MS Office into favorable positions for themselves. I think that's one thing to note here. Teams very good at the coordination side of this affair. They're able to pull back, pull in, find angles, including right now, as that is going to be another favorable fight going over to the side of Teams. They just wipe out everybody for the cost of one. And I think that we are seeing a very, very happy MS Teams side already mounting towards the lead.
Yeah, typically on those eco rounds, you'd like to get at least 2 picks if you're MS Office. They only come away with 1, but it was still a good attempt. I like that 5 stack, push it down, see what happens. A lot of times when you win that first or lose that first round, you lose the second one as well. So no harm, no foul. Here's the important round. You have a full set of rifles going up against that bonus from MS Teams, so you need to capitalize and make sure that you come away the victor here in round number 3.
Well, already Geralta Rivia is going to be able to take out Timsta has been having a rough go of these early runs, oftentimes being taken out, but once he is allowed to blossom upon the map, he definitely is a crucial member of MS Office. Problem is right now, will not be able to contribute on at least this round as MS Teams are still up in a man advantage.
Trying to work off that man advantage. Working with a MAC-10, a couple rifles here in the Scout as well. Say my name. With that Galil tucked into Boiler for the time being as they look to work toward this A site here. The bomb all the way down at T spawn here though, and with 2 push very far up banana. Only 1 on the defense here for MS Office on that B site. So a rotation here could be in order.
Yep, this is a 3-man shove now from Teams trying to navigate up towards that B site like you're talking about. But we do have a member of Office deeply entrenched there looking for an answer. But Teams definitely needs to respond in kind. If they're able to get this pick, all of a sudden MS Office are going to be trying to swarm them. They will have the man advantage in that case. Should be able to make something of it. This is deep approach. A lot of utility being used to try to take down one. We will see a big firefight with at least Aiden picking off one member before we do in fact see the plant come down.
Got that pick while partially blind as well. So again, at least not going home empty-handed, even though they were vastly outnumbered there. But again, because the economy is in a funky spot. This was a full buy for them that they on paper should have potentially won, and now they're not. So we are going to see a 3-man save here, I believe.
Yep, just falling all the way back. We do have an expeditionary force of MS teams coming out to try to find a pick. There's one. And so still, even that call is not going to pay off totally in favor of the side.
Yeah, it's tough. You don't want to lose any more weapons than you've already lost, especially when the economy is not in your favor. But now with teams having somewhat of an idea where they're at and stacks in the bank, like Shark in the Water, smelling blood, they're on the hunt. Unfortunately, won't be able to locate anybody, so the two members will stay up for the time being. But MS teams 3-0 to start things off here in map number 2, looking strong and looking for the potential to maybe send us into that map number 3.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at the buys, unfortunately, MS Office are now in a very weird hybrid slot where their saves didn't really come through. You didn't get the 3 stack on that front, and so you're still very much behind MS teams in terms of your capacity to win this round when you just look at the utility at hand here. Office does want to try to answer back, though. He's going to try to fight fire with fire down Banana. Getting at least a 2 stack here versus 2 members of the enemy team, just firing straight through the smoke here, and it's going to be Geralta Rivia taking down 1.
I mean, it was just raining grenades there. It was a tough place to be in, and I certainly wouldn't want to be there as they continue to use this utility to AT. And if you take a look at those health bars at the top, 2 of these members for MS Office, one specifically has no health. And so, again, they find themselves at a bit of a disadvantage here. MS team's playing Inferno very, very nicely at the moment.
Oh, absolutely the case. Teams seem to have a solid lock on this side. I am interested in what side swap comes about, how they are going to fare in Office's position, who right now are doing the best that they can to try to slow the pace of this and hopefully find an overextending member of teams. But it's a difficult thing to come by. Now, crossing into B, we do have a 3 stack here. 4 teams to try to make a mark versus 2 members of Office well implanted upon that point. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter. Geralta Rivia is a monster, picking up both those people I was talking about in an instant. And now Office has got really no choice except for to retreat and save, I believe, what Luminous has in their pockets. And that's just because it's so hard to make the voyage all the way to B side on this map.
Yeah, I mean, by the time they get over there realistically to then also win a 2v4 and find the defusal, it's just, it's a really tough ask. So it's just a better decision basically to hang.
Oh, no.
Dad Jorts, Crofty trying to get nifty with it. But Dad Jorts fine on the pick here. And so now they're going to have an idea at least where one of these members is. The economy on the other side of things, though, isn't the best. They have a couple members with some stacks in the bank, but I don't know if it's good enough for them to really want to go on the hunt and potentially risk losing some rifles of their own.
Yeah, I don't think that you do in this situation. I think that on both sides, this is about where things are going to end. 3v2. One that we will see picked up by the terrorist side. MS team's now up 4-0. They crested a lot of pain points in the early game hot sauce, and now I'm a bit worried that Office just will not be able to find their stride throughout the rest of this half.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way Counter-Strike goes. And honestly, you know, that's that mental aspect as well. You can't let rounds like that affect you. As easy as a team can get 4 in a row, you can turn around and get 5, 6, 7 in a row yourself. It's just something that happens in Counter-Strike, certainly a game of momentum. So you can't allow these previous rounds to affect you. You take a deep breath, you reset, maybe take a timeout, talk a couple strategies over for the next couple rounds, and then look to execute those plans the best you can.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by just how well coordinated both of these teams are and how strategically they are approaching this game of CS. And, you know, credit to whatever they have going on at Microsoft. You know, I feel like it'd be a little bit tough to mix your work life with your play life, but they're clearly doing so to great effect here. That being said, teams for the first time are going to be multi-man down off the back of Moose and company. Lumina is going to find Say My Name. Jin will get one back off the op, but Dad George is going to put a stop to that. Jin gets Aiden as well, and now we're in a 3v1 on the hunt for the Opper.
Yeah, I mean, as many names were in the kill feed up there, I didn't expect for MS Office to still have 3 members still standing here, but they come out the victor of those battles. And now we take a look at Jin, the lone member with the AWP here as well, slowly making their way up through mid. But fortunate for them, everybody from Office here has kind of gone toward the B site. Nobody near that spawn. And if Dad George is able to get up here and clear Banana, that's going to give him an idea that MS teams has to be lurking somewhere around the A site.
And by MS teams, we're talking about the one player left for their side with a bomb available. needing to make a mark around A. That being said, here come the MS Office players trying to swarm. That is going to be another one picked up off the op. Bomb is now not quite planted. Jin just wants to check the corners first. Big wheel around here from Office, approaching from both sides. This is going to be a miracle play. Molotov cocktail here to buy a little bit of space. Round the corner, can't quite get the scope in, and that'll be enough for the defuse. Office with one on the board.
Yeah, I think he was trying to do the old QQ, the old quick switch, so that they don't hear the scope zooming in and out, but maybe just got a little bit disoriented on turning left there. Could hear the pressure coming in. The pincer play was there, and I mean, a solid attempt by Jin nonetheless. Found a pick, found the plant, got the extra funds for the squad. For MS Office, you begin to work your way back in. We talked about 1 kill at a time, 1 round at a time. Last time it was teams with a crazy comeback in the second half. Let's see if maybe Office can channel some of that energy themselves here in the first half.
Luminous, heavily invested in utility right now. Not much in the way of gunplay going to come through, I don't think. M4 actually going to be grabbed here as we start things off. Now, this is interesting. I really do think that what MS Office are doing is saying, you know, our time is now, and if our time isn't now, well, we are going to be behind regardless. So they're investing heavily in this round. I think this is almost a must-win, but like you said, you take it one at a time, score 0-0, and what can you make from it?
Yeah, you gotta try to turn it nothing into something if you can, but as you mentioned, I mean, they have a full stack of rifles here. They have the op, a full set of utility to work with. The defusal kits are there as well. They came prepared and ready to win this round. And on the other side of things from MS teams, we've seen some quick pushes. We've seen some delays. I like the fact that they're able to mix up this strategy. And oftentimes, teams on that T side aren't patient enough. If they can kind of outweight the defense, sometimes the defense gets a little impatient, a little overzealous, will press forward, will look for a flank. And that opening pick will give you that player advantage that you need.
Dad Jor's in a very precarious position here, knows about the presence around the corner. Meanwhile, we got 2 from the side of teams poking through on Banana, wanting to at least get a view of B side for the time being. You can see the trepidation in everyone's eyes. Dad Jor's still trying to hold this. There is nobody to be had on A short, at least for the time being. Finally, rotation from teams trying to put a man in motion and look for something. Jin is dead, though. It's a 4v5.
Yeah, Dadjor's fine. Say my name on the other side here as well. The bomb's still down at that T ramp, and now a 3-2 split for the time being. Shots come out, underpass. Syndicate will peek the head. You gotta check the angles. Geralt Rivia will find Aiden, and Timsta able to find that quick trade back, and with that, MS Office will cut that lead in half. Now 2-4 as they look for a few more.
And I really don't think the MS Office could ask for much more, except for maybe a full-on wipe there versus teams. You got it down to a 4v2 scenario. You're keeping a lot. Your econ is back online. Teams needs to now try to plant their heels in and stop this. But the problem is they are no longer in possession of the money advantage. So Office are going to just give the op back over to Moose and just see what more they could click.
Let's see what can click.
Oh,
on the AK.
Oh,
Let
my
the
goodness.
Spray and pray. Aiden will find one as well. And a solid start to the round here for MS Office as they continue to click domes and send them home. A little 6 feet dirt nap. 2 members remaining. It's going to be Jin and Syndicate.
It is wild to think that in a game that literally has inbuilt momentum, that there's no momentum to be found. MS Office down a bunch of rounds, all of a sudden cuts the lead in half, and now is looking poised to take this to a 3-4 count. It's going to be up to Jin and Syndicate to try to turn this, but I just don't know how they're going to be able to. Both of them just trying to creep back past Banana onto the T ramp now. I'm thinking maybe they're going to try to hit A, but I mean, that's a scramble situation with 51 seconds left and 3 members of MS Office a prowling. They could also just try to save.
That's why I love Counter-Strike. It doesn't matter how many rounds someone is up. You always have that opportunity to bring it back 1 round at a time. And now Dad Jorts on the jiggle peak here. Will drop the molly. Shots will come out. A lot of damage being done here in both directions. Aiden chipped down to 14. Both these members from MS just above half health here as well, as more nades will continue to rain their direction. And they're slowly but methodically making this push toward A.
2 2v4 for the time being. Dad Jorts and Tim's able to get Jin, and now that same duo will also knock out Syndicate there. This is looking quite good for MS Office, an advantage in terms of income, and now they're trying to move towards an advantage in rounds 3 to 4 as they count. They could tie it up here.
Yeah, I mean, Dad Jorts, all that room for flexibility. He must be wearing jorts while he's playing Counter-Strike because, again, absolutely popping off. 6-3 in this one as well. We saw him, Aiden, I think Syndicate was another one on the other side that was battling back and forth, kind of the raid bosses for each of these teams here. And again, after a nice start, now we see Office reeling it back, just one away from tying it back up.
Now, here's the question that I have for you, Hot Sauce. Is there some kind of correspondence between CS and Jorts? Because the friend that taught me everything I know about this game, which isn't a lot, but, you know, that's not his fault or anything, is also someone who's a big fan of the Jorts. He even has named this whole, like, genre of rock music that he listens to Jortcore, because it's for people who wear jorts. Don't know what that is all about. Geralt of Rivia also just going to be blasted by Dad Jorts here, so he may also not know what it's all about. Dad Jorts cleans up Syndicate and Jin to follow through as well. What in the world was that? Break out the brooms. We got a tie.
4-4, all tied up. You know, I don't know. If you like jorts and you're a dad, you just get it, I guess, because I'm right there with them. Maybe it's an old thing. I know Counter-Strike, I think, came out in 1999 was when I first played it, at risk of telling everybody how incredibly old and ancient I am. But we're no longer on Ancient. We're on Inferno, and back to tied up 4-4. So again, this is why Counter-Strike's so fun. The momentum could be going one way, but swings happen detrimentally in both directions, and that's what we're witnessing here tonight.
Man, this really is the map lineup for you, huh? We got the Ancient side due to the age, and we also got the Inferno side due to the Hot Sauce. So around the corner, we are getting a little bit of a sneaky play here. Aiden wants to try to find somebody. Gets behind cover. Big firefight. Go to be able to pick off one. Geralt of Rivia will be able to stabilize back on the other side of this, though. And currently, we are in a 4v4. Teams trying to rally.
Syndicate finding that pick onto Luminos here. Back to a 4v3. The Molly from Apartments will give him a little bit of that intel. Dad Jorts from below finds the headshot, being cautious, looks away, timing everything. Does he spot the flick? And he does. Hits another. The 2K all day. Dad Jorts is absolutely popping off yet again.
I would call him a savior for the team, MS Office, but frankly, everybody has been doing their part. But Dad Jorts in particular is trying to make sure that yet another one goes to our office and they will be able to stride towards a lead right here, right now. But Jin wants something else to say about it. On the op, has been firing off a few shots. Definitely people know where they are, but I don't know if it matters. Trade up above. And now it doesn't even look like Jin needs to do all the heavy lifting there. Good stuff from Geralt of Rivia to bring this down to a one-man fight. Through smoke we go. Timsta gotta just walk right by their opponent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they brushed shoulders there for a moment. One up in the Apartments here as well. And now Timsta slightly confused. Where is this man at? And not even considering that they may have been sitting in that smoke. The running, though, the audio cue could come in. That'll give him an idea. The op turns around, waiting patiently, and it's Jen with a no scope. Just like that, MS Team's back on top, 5-4.
Yeah, we get into these little cycles where we're praising one team because they're the ones trying to bring back a streak, but everybody is a killer right now. We are discounting the fact that this is so darn close, Hot Sauce. A 4-5 teams with decent economy here, but the same could be said for Office on the classic push where you're just down a few rounds, but you're playing it patiently, and now got to opt the op scenario.
Yeah, I mean, teams got 4 rounds in a row, then Office finds a way to get 4 of their own in a row. Jin's going to find the first pick. Geralt tucks into safety here as the flames growing hot at the feet will pop a smoke just to ensure the flames don't linger that far. I think it was probably safe, but that Jorts finding Say My Name caught in the animation as Crofty will get the trade back, and now we're right back to a 3v2.
Yeah, Office, with some good calls right there, unfortunately. Just the way that the game goes, you stack, you will oftentimes fall as dominoes. MS Teams with 3. Jin gonna be taken low. Big shots coming through from Aiden, playing a virtual sniper in their own right. But now they have to fall into their own Molotov.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there or the decision making, but, you know, just dancing on some fire for the time being. Unfortunately, Aiden will fall now on a 2v1 again. MS Office looking to clutch it up, but it's Geralt of Rivia Rivia, excuse me, and they both have ops, so maybe we see it. Nope. Okay, he's going to drop one there. I thought maybe we were going to get a double op setup, which you do see sometimes on the CT side, but not so much on the T side.
Well, now those coffers of MS Office are getting drained. By hook or by crook, whatever happened that last round, they have basically one more time by which to try to stay the hands of MS teams to stop them from going on another run. But if things fall apart here and now, it will count as a disaster. That will be an op in the hands of Aiden this time, actually swapping off the player that they're putting in charge of the sniper rifle around the corner. Ooh. And that is going to be Aiden just obliterating Say My Name.
And I think the op swap paid off because he popped off the man's top, and with that, finds the player advantage. Now beginning to pressure a little bit toward B, at least looking to make some noise here and seeing if they can bite over an early rotation. 2-3 is the split for the time being, and with that, it does look like Teams is going to back down Banana a little bit, still trying to decide where they want to go.
Teams has the ability to try to re-coordinate something. They got a really good spread across the map, and so Office doesn't want to hit any major point for the time being. Teams jamming up towards B, past Banana. And we are going to see Office just try to play this slow now. They want to hit this as 3. High velocity is the end of the game for the remaining members of Teams. We got one person holding over on A. But I'm looking for a major point in the action to come soon. 30 seconds on the clock for the plant to come down. And I think Office does, in fact, want to go onto the attack here. They have the man advantage. They're able to get through onto the site here. Here comes the wraparound call. And that is going to be one taken down. And now the remaining member of Office up top, up north, is going to have to go on the retreat. Aiden trying to free fire through the smoke. Just going to cross over into Church.
He almost hit that shot through Coffin as well on the planter, which could have been used. They still have the player advantage to work with. A ton of flashes raining down. Just a little bit of utility left here for both of these squads as shots continue to rain down. Geralt finding Luminos. Dadjort's quick to get the trade. Now finds a second as well. And how do you stop Dadjorts? He's on one for the time being.
Oh!
Smoke, and it's a double. Syndicate, a huge play. He said that is how you stop him.
What in the world? Syndicate clutching it out, bringing them to 4-7. They're back on the streak. And like I said, that was a large investment from MS Office. They're going to have to play this slow.
Yeah, I mean, the economy, again, looking a little bit rough here for MS Office. Unfortunately, it's the final round of the first half. So you buy everything that you can, you cross your fingers, and you hope for the best.
Yeah, that being said, not a whole lot that you could buy in this situation. Trying to settle as much as you can on the util side of things. If you're able to get a kill, and you get the gun from there, you can begin to try to cascade things back over to your side. But Teams now realizing that they are in an advantage. Gonna play this slowly up through Banana. You have a possible meeting. One picked off. Aiden gets the double-double. Unbelievable stuff. This could actually go back in favor of Office, and we're looking at another 5-7 half.
Yeah, Aiden picks up the AK, finds the third kill as well for the triple, and now looking for more, but Say My Name finding a two-piece of their own. Crofty will step through the smoke. Timsta goes down. Moose, Crofty, the trades come back and forth, and it's all down to a 1v1. Health slightly favoring MS Office, but the plant will go down over here on the B site.
It's so odd to see things play out like this. You got a very, very strategic approach into a scramble situation. Desperation plays on either side to a 1v1. Hot Sauce, I don't know if it's just that the pressure is getting to these guys, realizing that they're in this grand finals or what, but Office yet again find themselves in a tough position, having to walk up against one and get this defuse.
Moose coming around through Church very slowly here. Has to be cautious of Dark. Is going to quicken the pace. Now the run and go.
Oh, my goodness.
With a one tap. Doesn't give a crap, baby. Looking dirty. Crofty 9-7, but it's Geralt who is up on top for the time being. 12-7-5. Dadjorts though 15 for them. Aiden in double digits here with 11 as well. So a lot of talent here littered across both of these teams, but MS Teams out on top here at halftime this time, 8-4. We talked about it earlier. It was Microsoft Teams that had the insane comeback in their second half on Ancient. We'll see if MS Office can do that here as well.
I mean, it's going to have to be even more insane is the thing, Hot Sauce. Now, 8-4 is not something that exactly feels completely indomitable here, particularly if you get a first round and get a streak going of your own. But Office feels so watertight. They've really rallied since that incredibly difficult game number 1. And I love the fact that their mental does not seem worse for wear. They realize that they're looking to take this one long. They do not care about how many rounds it takes. They will get their victory.
Looking for the victory. A little match pause coming out as they maybe look to talk over a little bit of these strategies. Now, a lot of these maps are CT sided, but I remember watching not the most recent Blast premiere, but the one before. And for Inferno, it was like something like 51.7 or 52.7 teams are actually more successful on the T side. So this is one of those maps that in the past has slightly favored the T side just a little bit. But again, that percentage is very, very minuscule. So I think it comes down to like really executing on these sites, that use of utility, especially on that T side. So we'll see if MS Office can have any luck here as well as we get ready for the second half.
I think this pistol round is just such a big decider. We actually got the ones akimbo here for Geralt or Rivia. For some reason, it feels very fitting for his play style.
Hey, you know, we always like to call him the bully with the dualies, and right now it's going to be Geralt here. We take a look at the POV of Jin. A lot of them stacked toward the steps on apartment side. All the action about to go down. Jin does find one. Timsta, another on the trade back here. And with that, now a 4v4, but the pressure is going to come out the A side here.
Crofty opening up. Here's Dad Jorts. This is a very important perspective. One of the top members here trying to bring it back for MS Office. Gets the trade, and now we got the plant.
Plant does go down, and they have the two-player advantage here as well. So things slightly favoring them for the time being. That pistol round you mentioned earlier, crucial for help dictating the next couple rounds. As well, we can see him on that crossfire now into pit and graveyard. Shots ring out, but it's Timster who finds the first. Say My Name will get the second and the third. A triple kill coming out as Dad Jorts will be able to wrap it up, but Say My Name doing a ton of damage there.
Yeah, almost equalized that. I really wasn't expecting that. But yet again, it feels like Office knew they had the advantage, but the way they push it maybe slightly irresponsible. Here, doesn't really matter a whole lot being the pistol round and all, and you do get the dub at the end of the day. But Hot Sauce, this is indicative of some of the cracks of their game plan beginning to form.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to play consistently well every single round, and that's what we just saw, a little break apart there in that defense. And, you know, now that the sides have been swapped, we'll see if they're able to have some more success. We do see that taser coming out. And so for that, I am very excited.
Yeah, would love to see this. I feel like they may just be tempting us a little bit here, Hot Sauce, having a bit of fun at our expense rather than at each other's. Right now, in terms of where we're seeing value, that is an AK on Timsta to start us off. Aiden as well on a rifle of their own. I believe that's the Galil, wanting to make the most of the situation. They need to drive this home, though, here and now. It is still all pistols for MS teams.
Yeah, I need to make sure they play together. They don't want to really give up any of these weapons over to the other side and allow them an easier time.
Oh!
Behind, it's Syndicate to find the first one. Timsta will get a trade, but Geralt quick to get it back, and that's why they need to play together on these anti-eco rounds. They're going to give up some free weapons and really allow MS teams an opportunity to take this round back.
Yep, we got a 3v3 scenario, but coming from pistols in dire straits, MS teams are perfectly happy to take this and move up to 9-5 if MS Office aren't careful. Speaking of careful, that is one member going down to 17 health. Tough place to be. As now we're seeing another trade. MS teams definitely in dire straits as well. They are going to lose one. Syndicate is actually going to fall there to Luminous. But they got a 100 stack here on one of their players around the corner with the Mac. Not able to get it. Will finally be able to pop them. And now it's a 3v1. Geralt, I think, basically out of this, will be knocked. So MS Office bring it back, but even that scary situation at the start of the round, I feel like shouldn't be happening here, Hot Sauce.
That was Crofty over there outside of church with a taser, too. When he peeked with that MAC-10, he popped the taser, just barely missed him with the taser. And again, if he hits him, it's a kill. If he had his pistol out even, maybe it was a kill. Unfortunately, the stars did not align for the taser. And Office able to capitalize, getting it a little bit closer. Still down by 2, however. And MS teams will have a full rifle buy in this round. Not a full set of utility, but a full set of rifles here at a minimum.
Yeah, I think the teams is basically ride or die on this round. That being said, given how close things were when they were in a material disadvantage in what we saw out of that last round, this is perfectly up their alley. That being said, one picked off early. Moose able to get Geralt to Rivia. And now MS Office will begin to enclose upon their opponents in that man advantage. Got something deep happening here at Apps. Very, very tight maneuverability for either side to get a fadeaway kill. We're currently in the perspective of Timsta, really looking to see where both of these Blue Squad members are going by A.
And I think they're just wanting to be patient, but with that pick there of Luminos onto Crofty, that'll open things up a little bit. And now Timsta stepping out of Apps will find one as well. They're going to collect that bomb, initially maybe thinking or considering going up Banana, but with those picks, they now have complete control of that A site. We'll see the rotation come in, and unfortunately for MS teams, they're going to have to rotate to the other side. If they opt to go for that flank, Aiden is going to be waiting here.
Where's the bomb drop? Two members of teams have left alive on this one. Office very happy with this position. Total enclosure right now of this bot part of the map. I believe that A will not be touched. This is just going to be a save for teams.
Yeah, they're just going to, I mean, if you take a look at the economy, the person with the most there is Jin at $200. So not going to be able to buy into the next round, hoping to save these rifles. On the hunt, though, is MS Office. They spotted one in the church. Dad Jorts will come away. Syndicate does get one as a consolation, but one is all they're going to get.
Yep. MS Office now 7-8. See if they can bring it back to a tie once again. This has been such a close game for a second time running. And if the cards just continue to fall in Office's favor, they could take it 2-0. But those of you here, you know, we're in on a little secret that this was, in fact, an incredibly close set of fights.
Yeah, and it's been a theme of four. It's been 4 rounds for one team, then 4 for the other, then 4 for teams again, and now if Office can tie this up, it'll be 4 in their favor. So just a great series of back and forth as both of these teams are fighting tooth and nail to clinch that championship win. Unfortunately for MS teams, they're going to need 2 in a row. Office needs 1 to close it out through
Lordy.
Fire and Brimstone. The flame and the Jin with a taser on the Moose, and we finally get it. An electrifying play as our man is shocked. Dad Jorts will find Geralt in the meantime, and we'll be right back to a 3v3.
3v3, considerable health advantage for the side of MS Office, as unfortunately Say My Name is kind of in rough shape right now. On the steal, trying to make the most of the situation, gonna back through smoke, trying to find more, blind firing for the time being, unable to clip anybody, but the same can be said for the other side. He will be able to stay alive for the time being as MS Office is still on the hunt. It's 3v3 though, beginning to look more and more like teams will be able to slowly approach this side. Obviously, to make a contestation here and now, gonna drop one. And now it is all up to Dad Jorts and company. Timsta, this duo has been doing so much late on into these rounds. Can they bring it back here is the question.
Time slowly ticking away. They're going to pressure the smoke, but it's Timsta.
What?
And Timsta, they somehow do it. They went to stampede onto the side. They said enough pitter patter. It's time to get at her. But Office lurking in the shadows, in the smokes. And with that, they'll come out 4 rounds in a row to tie it back up 8-8.
8-8. Teams want to invest. They want to stop this roll once again. Talked about back and forth, more like back and fours. MS teams want to get on their own 4-point run and actually get the victory off of it.
Oh, we knew this was going to be a nail biter. That first one gave us a testament to that already in overtime in that map number 1. And now tied up again here in map number 2 as it's been back and forth all day. Both of these teams really getting a chance to showcase the talent here. And Microsoft must have a lot of gamers, baby, because I'm excited. I mean, this is just a ton of talent out here in Yarko.
I mean, absolutely the case, and I'm not surprised whatsoever. It's Microsoft at the end of the day, right? Home of the Xbox, et cetera, et cetera. These guys know how to game. They know how to throw down, and they are doing so fantastically here on Inferno. So far, everybody's still alive here as we move into the 17th round, excuse me. 3 stack on Banana here for the terrorist side, trying to maybe hit B. Bomb's still behind them, though.
Yeah, Bomb's still down on that T-ramp as they decide where to go, but Aiden and Syndicate will trade back and forth here. Syndicate still standing as now They begin to make some more noise at the B site here, looking to bite over an early rotation. Moose found a pick on the other side as Crofty got one as well. And now with that, they might opt to head toward that A site, but still kind of trying to figure that out, I think.
Well, bomb is now in motion, going to be jammed down banana. We do have a 1 covering on B site for the side of teams. We'll be able to get 1 pick, and those 2 coming their way. Syndicate getting back off, knowing that they could get even more value here. It's a 3v2 scenario, and here comes the rotation as well. Team's going to jam everything, and it's incredible stuff. All down to Dad Jorts once again. Syndicate with just a rock-solid approach to this and how to play the point. And now it is all up to the star of Mammoth's office. Time and time again, they have been able to make it pay off, but not here, not now. Team's up 9-8.
Yeah, I mean, the battle between Dad Jorts and Syndicate, or at times even Aiden and Syndicate, but Syndicate locking it down at the B site, did a good job lingering around New Box as well. And so with that, we will see him take another round. It's been the round of 4, so it'll be interesting to see how many more in a row they can get, or if Office will be able to answer back quickly here. Still a full buy for both of these squads, but again, if you take a look at the economy for both of these teams, it is in a bit of shambles.
They put it all into just slugging it out against one another, and look what that's gotten us, an incredibly tight game number 2. Office currently trailing by 1 round, but we see how quickly things can turn on a dime. But teams at the same time has that blessing of the 4 upon them. They can just end it here and now if they continue to make this run happen. Jin on the op once again has already brought so much success to the team through it. Can they take it home now?
Looking to take it home up close and early. They look away from the flash. Almost catches Aiden off guard, but he's able to 180 snap back and find the head of Geralt here. So with that, again, the player advantage, but not for long. Syndicate dropping the Kobe from downtown will collect an 8 kill. Luminos will get Say My Name, and they continue to battle back and forth, but Luminos from the heavens of apartments will send Crofty packing on to heaven himself now in a 4v2.
Office definitely want to tie it up here and now. Got a good angle by which to do so. Unfortunately, Jin still has this op available, still able to make a play. Teams pretty conservatively may actually just decide to save here as we do get the 4 stack, plant onto A for Office.
Yeah, again, it's just it's tough when the economy's not there, and especially when you have an op. It's such an expensive weapon. You don't want to hand it over for free. So again, it's just a smart decision. You have some rounds to give. Things are certainly very close and not out of hand or to where you'd have to take such a gamble. So it's a smart decision to go ahead and save. Look to play around these rifles in that following round, as everybody will still be kind of ecoing out there for that potential next round that follows. But I mean, once again, from a rounds of 4s now back to just 1s, they'll tie it up one more time.
Well, this is the first time we aren't going on a streak here, Hot Sauce. That was a 1-for-1, traded right back. Office, definitely, I think, a little bit favored in terms of the econ. You talked about it before, but now can they actually make this work on the 5-stack of rifles versus Jin on this op? Saved last time, now looking to make a mark with it.
See if they can make their mark. Early smoke here, and the molly will come out as well. Slowing things down a bit on this T side thus far as they look to find some room to work with. And I mean, for MS, they've done a good job at locking down that B site for the most part. So I think that's why we are seeing kind of Office work a little bit more toward this A site to open things up, see if they can find that first initial pick and then cause a rotation out of MS teams.
Things are currently holding at even. Looking at Crofty right now, packing the Deagle. Same thing to be matched by Say My Name here, unfortunately. Won't be able to get the fadeaway shot. Moose starts things off in favor of Office. But in time, we do see Jin bring that op to bear upon Moose. We're in a 4v4. Oh! Very seeky position there by Say My Name. Thought that they would have been able to get something, but no, now we cleaned everybody to a 4v2 in favor of Office.
Yeah, that was crazy. Jin was coming to help with the op as well, but I think it was Luminos who found a crazy shot on them over near Graveyard, and we can see him popping a couple shots at that op there as well. Maybe just playing some mind games with the opponent lurking on the other side. Hey, you want this op? Come get it. Come get it. You want to save it, Geralt? Come get it. Maybe just setting a little piece of cheese in the mousetrap here, but shots will ring out, and Timsta will find Geralt. The only remaining member is Syndicate. They've made their way over to that B site. Should be able to save this AK here as well. But MS Office, after being down for what I feel like is the entirety of this game, they've tied it at points, but now will be up on top here for the first time on Inferno.
That being said, things not over just yet, as this is going to be teams getting one before the light fades. And notably, they have saved enough to be able to fight fire with fire. They are back on top of the econ. They are going to buy. They are going to look to stop this reign of terror right here, right now.
Can they stop the reign of terror? That is the question. They have an op, and it's certainly capable of stopping a lot more than that. An op on both sides here, really, though, as MS Office, again, has taken the lead for the first time. They'll make some noise here at the B site. Some early pressure at mid from teams as well. Shots ran out in both directions, but no real damage being done. As I say that, though, the nade will take a lot off Syndicate. Timsta will wrap it up as Garrett will find the trade.
3v4, favor of teams, bringing it right back. Jin notably still unleashed, has that op at their back. That being said, this is a gamble. If teams drop this round, they're going to be so far behind on the econ that it could just be the end of the game. Office, though, needs to make the most of this situation. Down with the scramble. They still have Dad Jorts at full health, and that's basically all you need in some of these cases.
Yeah, Dad Jorts has certainly been a menace here, a nemesis even at times for teams. So we'll see if they can continue to apply that pressure, have the same success. Geralt on the jiggle peak here, looking for a little intel before he pops the smoke, and we will see go ahead and rain down. 3 stacked on the A site, though, is drastically outnumbered over here at B, but Office still continuing to work their way toward that A site.
And I love when you see the driving force of this game get slowed down due to a man disadvantage. Office, we're trying to hit hard. Now, much more trepidatious about doing anything on A. And as they continue to try to keep someone on banana, eventually recalling them, we are going to see a decisive shove.
Time ticking away. The op shot rings out, and Jen will get one, but Dad Jorts, who we've been talking about all night, finds a big pick. Still a 2v2. There is that long lurking flank coming in, but it might not need it because the crossfire is there. The pincer play comes up huge, and teams will tie it up once more.
And they gambled. They paid off this time around. Office have quite a bit of money to spend, so they will, I think, be able to continue to match 1-for-1. At this point in the game, it's going all out. It is trying to take this puppy home here and now before we hit the OT. But I do like what MS teams are doing in terms of the coffers. Even if they drop this round, they are going to be able to full buy and answer right back. And if Office drop this, the 11-10 looks very, very rough for them.
And Dad Jorts already has 23 kills as well, and continues to look for more early pressure up mid, waiting for that molly to flush away. A second molly will come down. The smoke is in place toward Arch side, and that'll at least give him some cover. And with that, Jen will opt to fall back toward Library.
Oh, in an instant. Great stuff coming out of the Mac there from MS Office's representative. The Terrorist is going to be up a player, but now down quite a bit of health on 2 of them. And that's Dad Jorts taken out. Syndicate immediately pivots, trying to find more. But here's the trade right back, and now it's just Geralt of Rivia having to try to find the defuse against 3 stacked members of Office. All right, once again, trades going back. Geralt of Rivia getting one. Still stuck in a very dicey situation. Has the health advantage, but unfortunately in a man disadvantage. Won't be able to do anything against that smoke. It's 10-11. MS Office wants to take this home.
Yeah, I mean, Syndicate, it was popping off there, and luckily Moose was close enough to step up with that MAC-10, find the pick, and now just 1 away from match point. And the nice thing about being a match point first is, you know, you guarantee yourself a minimum of that overtime. So it really kind of puts the pressure on your opponents to clutch it up. And we'll see if MS teams can tie it up here, or if Office will be able to go ahead and get on to match point.
Like I said, Econ going to be a big deal. MS teams, for the most part, have been able to answer back in terms of buying back up to what they want. Unfortunately, they're immediately going to lose one to Timsta's fire. That's now Office. While they have taken a lot of rough trades, still are in a man advantage, and now Syndicate's in trouble.
A lot of trouble here. Tucked into the back of the site. Has some help over there at the coffin side, though. We can see the op looking to reign supreme. Working off the player disadvantage. And we really see these methodical approaches now coming in from Office. Tucked into a spot here. Looking to see if that rotation is going to come in and potentially find an additional pick. Through the smoke, though, the spray comes in and Crofty will find Moose.
And that's critical. Office, even as they play patiently here, are going to drop one. And I was about to praise them for just how well they have altered the playstyle. No more desperation at hand. They are just looking to make the mark here and now and end this series. But they may be denied that opportunity as teams get themselves into a comfortable position to continue to try to push forward. 4v4 health advantage. Materially, they're in quite a good spot as well, having that op available. And we know just how deadly Jin is on it.
Yeah, Syndicate's over here with not much health. Geralt with the op through the smoke, though. Syndicate gets one out the FAMAS as well, and Jin is not done yet. Finding another wild blind. Absolutely insane.
11-11 hot sauce. Someone about to move up to match point. Someone about to be able to match it. That being said, things are going to look dicey. A lot has to be done on this map. It looks like Office are actually thinking about econing this.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they kind of need to. I mean, it's if they want to at least have a full buy. If they don't eco this and they lose, and then they aren't going to be able to buy in that match point round. So I think maybe looking to play for that overtime, still believing they can close it out in overtime. But Syndicate has been a menace on the B site. They continue to push here. Geralt, George with a MAC-10 yet again, getting spicy.
It's a 3v3, though. Wasn't expecting that from an econ round, and now guns have been picked up by Office's side. Still a pistol free firing here. Bomb has been planted here by Dad Jorts, leading the charge. Player with the most health right now. Very, very difficult situation for Timsa and company. Look out the other side now. That's going to be one picked off. Syndicate helping, as that's going to be Crofty picking up the last two. And down goes Timsa. And so teams expectedly going to be able to pick up this round. Now looking at match point.
Yeah, Crofty killed a teammate in that mix as well. I don't know if you saw that, but got crazy with the spray. Found his teammate as well. But honestly, that was an eco. We got to remember that was an eco round for Office. They found 3 big picks. They put a damper on the economy just a little bit, but I don't know if it was going to be enough, as we do see that full buy still coming in. But at a minimum, they're able to full buy here for this final round. It's going to be up to them this time, though, to send it into overtime.
Yeah, credit to teams, even though they did drop a few people there, they had enough of an economic cushion to where they're still going to be able to get up to their full-on buys. And notably, it's Jin on that op yet again. Been crucial so many times. We'll be resilient enough, I think, to bring this back. Teams need to stop this here and now. They cannot afford to lose Say My Name, for instance, who is at that full $0.
Yeah, Say My Name just lurking outside of apps for the time being. And again, if I was them, I'd probably head this way as well. I'd look to stay away from Syndicate until we have that player advantage. But Say My Name equally has been devastating over here as well. Timsta lurking just on the other side of apartments. We can see Crofty now looking to hold down lane as well. Office being very cautious here.
Double shove onto A, coming through from Office's side. Wanting to be able to win this 2v1, unfortunately, they're going to be denied that opportunity. Say by name, cleaning things up. And that highlight play right there could be enough for teams to just take this and tie us 1-1.
Yeah, 2-player advantage is absolutely huge here for teams. And now they have a solid opportunity at closing out map number 2 and sending us all the way to Dust 2 for the final game to wrap up this championship here tonight. And again, both of these teams have fought very hard to get where they are into this grand finale, and it's going to come down to this final round here, potentially, to see if we go to the next map, excuse me.
Geralt just going to rotate past smoke, knowing that Office is most likely grouping, looking for a shove, needing the plant, hitting B hard for the time being. That is going to be one going down. Aiden gets it blind. Geralt will be able to answer right back, though, and now it's a 2v4.
Yeah, and time slowly ticking away. He'll peek through the smoke. The plant does go down in time, but Dad, 33 health. The nade will rain down, and with that, it will reign supreme. MS Teams does it after losing map number 1. They'll take map number 2, 13-11. Both of these games insanely close, and we are going to get ready for Dust 2.
Oh, and what a way to close things out. A classic map, of course, Hot Sauce, but more than that, what a classic series we got on our hands here in CEA. The Corporate Charity Championship has been so strong with many teams vying for the top spot, but now only one can reign supreme, and it's going to be Microsoft one way or the other as we move on in. Dust 2, you know, this is the one map where I have a little bit of familiarity, mostly because I've been playing rips of this map in other video games for most of my life.
Hey, that's fair. I mean, Dust 2 has been around forever, you know, and I mean, they call Mirage Dust 2.0 or Dust 2 2.0, I guess. But yeah, it's a map that's been a staple of Counter-Strike for a long time. So it's kind of fitting that the decider will be on this map. I feel like this map is a little more CT favorable. But again, if you are good at executing onto sites, peeking off of your teammates' flashes, there's some good pushes at long A. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can work with. But I certainly think Dust 2 is a little more favorable to that CT side.
All right, well, let's see who exactly is going to be heading over to that side first and who is going to make the most of it, Hot Sauce. This has been tight so far. I imagine that we are going the distance once again. We're going to throw it over to a quick break. When we return, it's for more CEA action.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 2024 Fall Corporate Charity Championship brought to you by CEA. We've got one match left to decide it all. A piece of that prize pool of $2,200, of course, going to their charities that they're playing for. So $1,320 will go to first place, $660 to second place. Microsoft Office playing for Child's Play, and Microsoft Teams playing for the Seattle Children's Hospital. So all for a great cause nonetheless. Hopefully you guys are having as much fun as we are having today. My name is Hot Sauce, and still in the booth with me here for this final game, the legend Nyarko. How are we feeling about this last one?
I'm feeling quite good, Hot Sauce. We have reached the promised land, the vaunted 1-1 score line, something that is a rarity for us to be able to cast, but honestly couldn't come at a better time in a more competitive series for a better cause. And really at this point, I'm looking at both of these teams and thinking it is a toss-up. It doesn't matter. You look at a single round, that's not going to be the decider. It comes down to how mental fortitude is going to come into play, and endurance as well is going to be a real question on my mind as we move into a third grueling game.
Yeah, I mean, from overtime to the final round of the game there as well, almost a second overtime. So, you know, it's hard to say that one of these teams has a little more momentum than the other because they've just been so close. And, you know, we saw... I feel like whoever goes out in the lead first has been the victor in both of these games. The other team has been able to bring it back and tie it up each and every time. So we'll have to maybe look and see who can get that early foothold. But again, I feel like Dust 2 is definitely a little more CT favored.
Yeah, it feels like one of those maps that is in the pool for nostalgia's sake. You know, quality of it, especially at the higher levels of play, has been up for question for a while now, I believe. But, you know, it's like Nuketown. It's never not going to be in the game at the end of the day. And given that it's the case, we are going to look maybe at a little bit more of an extended run to be had by one of these two teams, depending on whatever side they're on, CT or not CT, like you're talking about. One thing to note here is that so far, it seems as if that dynamic has been thrown out the window. You did, of course, say that Inferno is relatively close, but Ancient or Inferno, whatever it so be, both these sides are able to go on runs on either of these roles. And I really think that this is now, like I said, coming down to the wire in regards to who is able to rally their team and get themselves to victory. You know, we've talked a little bit about how Syndicate has been such a major carry for the side of MS teams, but honestly, every single person has contributed immensely in the project getting teams to this point. And Office at the same time as well, having Luminos in their back pocket alongside Dad Jorts, Moose, and Aiden Timsa all together as a 5-stack. It really is incredible. You just find 10 of such good CS players within such a small grouping within the wider building of Microsoft.
Yeah, well, you know, here's going to be my favorite thing I think about this third map is that it's going to start off with a knife round, right? Because teams get to pick maps, pick sides, we're down to that final map. So we're going to get to be blessed with what we get to see in ESEA all the time. But a knife round to start things off. The winner of the knife round will get to choose what side they would like to start on. So I love these knife rounds. We're going to get right into it, Nyarko.
Yeah, already just slicing and dicing back and forth. No strategy, no peeking around corners. It is running at one another with Shanks and seeing who comes out on top. And right now it looks to be Office who just takes it 3-0.
Yeah, a lot of slicing and dicing, as you had mentioned, but unfortunately for MS teams, Office will come out the victor. I'd be highly surprised if they start anywhere other than the CT side, but if there's one thing that I'm pretty good at, it's also being wrong. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it does look like MS Office is going to be starting off on that CT side.
Yeah, things reset and things begin. Pistol round to start things off. It's always one of my favorites, and you know I think it comes down to the fact that I like chaos. And so far, both of these teams have, for the most part, said, "Damn, the torpedoes were jumping in as a stack, or maybe a double split here." But that was one down long. Aiden to start things off. Clearly, he's been putting in a little bit of work on the aim trainer in between rounds.
Somebody back check him. That was dirty, but Jin says, hey, I can do it too, baby. A nice headshot there to put him onto the site. Aiden will get another as the smoke will pop up in window. One into upper ton. Shots ringing out. Damage being thrown in both directions. 3 lingering outside the doorway as well. About to stampede in on the jiggle. Aiden, 7 health has helped. Timsta, Luminous, Dad Jorts, all finding a piece of the action here as MS Office will take round number 1.
And as we've learned so far, Hot Sauce, this literally does not matter in terms of building up odds in this game. Who knows who's going to take it next? Momentum is a myth, as is the idea that one of these two teams is clearly the favorite. Both of these guys are so evenly matched. But yes, Office off to a good start. Now going to be up on economy and look to make the most of it.
Looking to make the most of it here. Up by 1. Typically, when you win that first round as well, you do go on to win the second round. Because they found that plant, though, they are able to force into some Galils and some MAC-10s to pop flash, to peek the spray. But it's Geralt who comes away on top, but not for long. Luminous will be blinded, but it doesn't matter. Able to find the 2K anyway.
High velocity to open things up, and eventually when the dust 2 settles, MS Office is going to be up a man.
Waiting for that dust to settle, waiting for the smoke to clear. As they do have that player advantage, but Luminos only has 7 health, so something that's still able to work with here. Looking to clear Car as well, just trying to clear all of the angles right now. 2-1-1 split here for MS Office as this slowly make their way up long A here.
Yeah, it's a tough place to be, though. Great job by MS, just entrenching themselves. We're going to see a swing across the corner, try to get to the site. Fraud situation, Timsa unable to keep the tide from falling, but now it's going to be Moose answering right back, getting the double-double at the end here. A 3-0 at the end of this one for MS Office to take it 2-0.
Yeah, I think it was Moose and Luminos both finding double kills there in that round. So a nice 2-0 start, but that is pretty typical. However, because teams forced into that second round, they were able to do so because of that plant. But because they did so, they're going to find themselves on an eco here in round number 3. So MS Office has an opportunity here to get a nice little security blanket to start things off.
Yeah, Office on the advance for the time being. Aiden first to peek this corner. Center stage for the time being. That's 3 all the way through mid, being jammed by teams looking to just play the blitz. Cross doors, though, we are going to see a little bit of a fraud fight here. Luminous just trying to hold the line.
Holding the line for the time being. The rest of the crew up here on Cat. Geralt trying to feel fine with a Tech 9. We'll see if he can come away with something. Luminous tucked into the corner here, looking to hold a slight off angle. Syndicate. Geralt dangerously low on health, a little bit of a pre-fire, and now through the door, a spray could be huge, but again, just a little game of cat and mouse as they begin to feather on through the step. The camera looks away, but Luminous does not. Finds one. Aiden with help from Spawn will get a 2K. Dad Shorts getting one as well, and a flawless round for MS Office is not only do they win the round, but they don't even drop a single member.
And you may be wondering, as a first-time viewer, how in the world is this so CT-sided where there it is? It's so hard to push in these situations. There's so many places to entrench. CT have good control of mid because of the double doors, and beyond that, they have such a good wall to play off of the default plants as well. So given that these are all the dynamics coming into play here, I'm not surprised that we're getting to the 3-0. The question is, can teams answer back?
Yeah, and this is going to be that important round, right? They have this is the first full buy that both teams are going up against each other. There is an op in the hands of Jin, who's had a lot of success on it. Now the spray is coming through the door, but again, no damage done in either direction just yet. And again, teams kind of figuring out where they want to go. They've got a lot of presence at mid, but they haven't been able to kind of work off of that play just yet.
Holding on door, Jin immediately getting over to the op. This is their specialty, and they've done so much good for MS teams, helping to secure that last game. Now can they do it again?
Jin on the op will get smoked off for the time being as Aiden finds one on the Syndicate, and now Timsta will get a piece of the action. Same on name. We'll find Timsta in the exchange, back to a 4v3, but Say My Name doesn't have a lot of health here as well. They're trying to work up through Cat, almost spotting the head. The timing of Counter-Strike is absolutely crazy, but going to avoid that one there. They do have some space to take, but if you look over here, Aiden has got all the way up into a cheeky spot. He is going to be able to spot them. Maybe he just tucks in here and waits patiently.
I believe that it was Aiden that did this tuck last time. We'll be able to get one, trades back, but now it's a mad rush, a 2v3 scenario. Then you get this bomb planted.
Looking to get the bomb planted. There come the nades as well. This will buy a little more time. Looking away from the flash. Say My Name is up top, but the bomb can't make it across. They'll be chopped down. No, it did. So Say My Name was able to pick it up. At least it rolled far enough. Finds the plant for the extra funds, but I don't know if they're going to come out unscathed.
Yep, and there we go. All wiped. Now it's just time for the defuse here. Office gonna now move up to 4-0. And well, Hot Sauce, this is traditionally where you begin to see the break point. Teams gonna come back here for the 4-1, you think?
Hey, I mean, in the previous game, it was the runs of force. So, I mean, it's certainly viable. The only problem is the economy is kind of in shambles here. Luckily for teams, two things really. They're on a full 5-tick loss bonus. So the funds are going to be there, but things are also a little bit cheaper on that T side as well. So they're able to full buy into this one. Not quite a full set of utility. The op going to be the glass cannon here as well. Say my name on the glass cannon. Can't find the first one. Looks for the second. Aiden ducking under. Gets a headshot onto Crofty.
Wow, what a fraught scenario. Gonna lead to a 1-kill advantage over to MS Office. But with so many things expended and so many locations revealed, this is a dicey one. And now we got a double shove once again from the terrorist side onto mid. Face to face with one another. The smoke, the cover from the box here. Just looking to find a head over the top. Jin waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's interesting. A lot of times we see that quick pressure, but there are moments of calm and serenity there, but not for long as Geralt will find Moose. And with that, potentially looking to work up toward Cat. It has been smoked off. They're going to opt to rotate through lower tons as they did find a pick onto Timsta over here in tons. So that'll lead them to believe that B side is wide open. And well, it absolutely is. From the mid though, Aiden finding Syndicate. And they've done a good job of kind of stifling Syndicate here early on Dust 2.
Yeah, you talk about moments of peace and quiet. We kind of are bouncing back to one now. No! Across the way, Say My Name will ensure that Aiden meets the eternal silence here, showing that they are as capable on the op as Jin is. 2v2 now. Dicey scenario here. Dad Jort's just going to get picked off. Jin getting another one. Now it's all up to Luminous. Going to be stuck here. Looking around the corner, dealing with both. We'll be able to somehow get it. What in the world was that? And now looking for the defuse.
That was beautiful. And what he did is he peeked that left shoulder peak there. And so because they were zoomed in with the op, they didn't want to unzoom to give away that. So they saw him peek on the left. They were just holding that ankle. But because they're zoomed so close in there, they couldn't see him jump on top of the box there. A beautiful decision by Luminous. Great situational awareness to come up with a huge play. 8-3 for Aiden, but 7-0 for Luminous, who has yet to be put under in a little dirt nap. So a strong performance here to start things off. MS Office up by 5, Nyarko.
Yeah, teams are really feeling the pressure too. Look at this, forcing a buy, down a lot of money right now. They need to make something happen here in this round, but I just don't know if they have the opportunity. Office are looking so good, so clean this time around, and all of those jitters from early when they're beginning to overinvest in moments of advantage no longer seem to be the case.
No longer seem to be the case. They've hit the full stride. They're not looking back. A well-oiled machine for the time being, but we've seen crazy runs back and forth. And again, you can't put it past MS teams. They certainly are capable of finding 6-7 round runs in a row, and it could start with a kill here from Geralt.
Oh, absolutely. Geralt gonna be able to pick up one. Moose following through, but now look at the responses. MS Office just wipe multiple in a row. CT up another one. Get it to 6-0.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, beautiful performance here in the first half thus far for MS Office. But again, I've seen crazier things. I've even seen 10-2 halves that get turned around and sent to overtime, or even the 9-3 curse, that has come over from Valorant. So again, it's one of those games. Yeah, you might be feeling that confidence, but you certainly cannot count this MS team squad out. Unfortunately for them, they are going to be on this little bit of an eco buy here. We'll see if they can turn nothing into something.
Yeah, no worries, Hot Sauce. I really do think that, in fact, that is how MS teams need to play. Absolutely carefree, realizing that momentum is a myth, as is advantage to be coming from the econ side of things. They're in a 3v4 right now, but Jin has clutched this out before, and notably, like you said, I've seen a lot of those curses come to play time and time again. My belief, just from stereotyping players, is that I feel like Valorant players maybe don't have the mental fortitude of CS players grown up in the wildest of lobbies across this game.
There might be some truth to that. I don't know. But both of these teams here now wanting to get this round win. More so MS teams, but doing it off of an eco. They found at least one pick. They were able to grab a weapon. Jin, unfortunately, just has 9 health, looking to channel his inner Deagle demon. We'll see if he's able to do that. Trying to work off of this smoke. We can see Moose lingering on the other side with that AWP, though. The bomb still in upper tons, and I feel like with 40 seconds, they have some time to decide, but they're going to want to look to pick soon as Timsta finds Syndicate, and things will get a little bit tougher.
Yeah, it's only getting worse here. Now, we are going to get the double pick off the map, so I'm going to hold my tongue.
Wow.
Back up to Dad Jorts, but what in the world? What a turnaround here. Jin on just a sliver of health. We'll be able to get another one, and now it's a 2v1.
To say I'm flabbergasted is an understatement, but tries to check the angle. Dad Jorts waiting patiently. Some crazy shots coming out from MS teams, but now in a 1v1. And if you look at Geralt, he's got 12 health on the docket as it looks like Dad Jorts here ready. Pop, lock it on into the site. Being patient, though. Buying a lot of time here. Is this MS team squad with the pistol, though? Is there enough time? There's no kit. There's one in front of him, but he's going to opt to not pick it up now.
Oh, no, swaps it a little bit too late on the clock. I think he will be able to get the defuse, but just barely. A nail biter to keep MS Office ahead, and MS teams winless here in this final game.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to pick up that defuse kit that was just laying less than a meter there in front of him, but he thought, you know what, 4 seconds sounds better than 9, so yeah, let's go ahead and do that. 7-0, MS Office putting on a clinic here on our third and final map of the night. Of course, this one will be the decider of the 2024 Corporate Charity Championship, brought to you by CEA. We're into round number 8, and things are not slowing down.
Not at all. MS team is actually going to be able to land first blood in this one. And maybe even more coming through from both of these sides, just looking to smoke off all these major choke points, but we're getting even a heavier stack down mid yet again. Moving on to A short now. It looks like this is going to be the angle that teams wants to try to hit the A site from.
I thought that nade was going to connect for Crofty, but just a hair to the right. Say my name again, displaying some good patience here on the other side of double doors as Timsta will pop the smoke and continue to hold this off for the time being. MS Office is a member down in this one, so another opportunity here for MS teams. They need to find a way to get on the board. I think if they can find a way to win a round, it'll kind of propel them into getting a few more in succession.
Well, there's going to be the trade back, so now we're in a 4v4 scenario, and it didn't take a lot of help for them to do it. Dad Jorts in a very happy position. Crofty trying to navigate their way out. Going to be caught by the edge of the molly. That perspective game, unfortunately, going to cost MS teams heavy, as now they're in a man-down fight.
And Crofty went crispy on us there as he jumped into the flames and got burnt up there as Luminos will find Syndicate back to a 2v1. They have the advantage. A double op setup, and once you op, you can't stop. Nice play here. Still able to hold them scoreless as MS Office, and they continue to have a dominating first half.
Come on. Teams, do something. Stop Dad Jorts from getting the MVP and that dumb pop pump song playing in my head.
You know you secretly love it. It takes you back to our middle school days. Well, maybe
I think you and I had very different middle school days.
Oh, Aiden blind with the op. We said once you op, you don't stop. Aiden will pop the dome of Geralt's here as well, and he's absolutely seeing red. Enough said. Luminous at mid. The double op setup is tough to deal with, and MS Teams has to go up against it here with just 3 members remaining, but Syndicate will at least be able to get one.
Good stuff from Syndicate. Remaining the rock for the team to swim to. Unfortunately, Jin dies to Luminos in the sniper duel. Now it's a 4v2 scenario. What is the answer? Just stop getting swept in this half. MS Office certainly can still drop this. We've seen it before as we talked about Hot Sauce, but here and now they are playing as a well-oiled machine. Luminous gets one. Syndicate will trade back, but there comes Moose with the killing blow to keep it up 3 for MS Office.
Man, I mean, after how incredibly close those first 2 games were, I would not expect to be at 9-0. And again, we've seen some moments of greatness here from MS teams on Dust 2. We've seen some moments where they almost were able to steal a few of these rounds away, but MS Office just continuously locking it down, now putting stacks in the bank as well, and things are going to get exponentially tougher here for MS teams. Luckily, they're on that full loss bonus, so they should be able to buy out, but even at such, they're going to do it with not a full set of utility.
Yeah, it's a rough situation, feeling that you have to force, knowing that you're this behind, realizing the immense burden that is upon you. Yes, it is the case that this is provably quite CT-sided because these are two well-matched teams facing off against one another, Hot Sauce, but the momentum that you have moving on in here could be enough for Office to just put this away quite quickly after this half.
Yeah, and again, it's just so hard to deal with the double op setup here at mid, and they need to maybe try to 5-man one of these ops, even if it's at mid, a couple pop flashes over mid while they rush through double doors and a smoke here, but it's going to be Geralt of Rivia who will finally have an answer and extinguish the flame that's Luminos in the AWP, but now, what do they have to work with it here, as it is back to a 3v3 once more, and again, they still have at least one op they got to get through.
Things hanging in the balance for sure. 3v3, though, best scenario that MS teams have been in quite a while now. Unfortunately, we do see Say My Name already down on quite a bit of health here. He has clutched out from the situation before, but look who he's up against. These are the top front runners for MS Office time and time again. Now firing deep down long. Timsa trying to trade back. It's going to be a 1-for-1.
Timsta, pop of the head. Geralt, as you mentioned, the trade back and forth. And again, they continue to search desperately for this first round. Say My Name is in a cheeky little spot. The trigger discipline is there. He's going to let him walk on by. And from behind, the spray will collect the head of Dad Jorts. And now it's all down to that op. A good decision here to rotate around and keep him guessing. But Geralt won't need the help. He'll find the final pick. And with that, MS teams will get on the board. We talked about that single spark igniting the spectral fire. And hopefully that can be the round to do it for MS teams.
Yeah, I mean, Smokey Bear's out in full force. This is a dry atmosphere they're in here on Dust 2. This is the place for you to spark something big. Towering Inferno, to call back to our last map. MS Office need to try to answer again. They do have a decent econ on their side. I do wonder if they are going to try to fully invest to try to stop a take back. Looks like teams for the time being are just going to be riding high on that victory in the last round, though. Unfortunately, Timsa finds 2. Not off the gun I was expecting.
Hey, you take them where you can get them. Op on the other side here for Jen as well, but it's MS Office who continues to find these early picks and just bleed that success here. Luminos does a good job of switching the positions. He'll see the shadow on the ground. The pre-fire is easy, and Syndicate will fall again, who's really been that raid boss, that juggernaut for MS teams, and now looking away from the dash, and Say My Name and crew will combine for one. Still a 2v4 to work with.
Yeah, it's rough. This is a very difficult scenario for MS teams to be in for the most part. It's been traded back and forth round after round after round, no matter how far behind they are. But starting off in that 5v3 disadvantage and getting it to where it is currently isn't enough. It's a good story to tell, but it will not get you that first place prize and the lion's share of the $2,200 for charity.
And it's all for charity, so it's all a good cause. Regardless of how the outcome happens, none of these players are walking home empty-handed. Having a lot of fun here for a great cause as well. But MS teams, they've been able to bring it back to a 3v2. Now have an opportunity. They know there's one near Cat. Spots one on site here as well, close by. But it's the up who will pop off the top of Say My Name. Moose will get Jen yet again, my friend. And with that, MS Office 10-1, 2 away from match point. Only one round left in the half here, though.
Well, we have seen MS Office, once they forge a strong lead, begin to play a little bit overly aggressive. But I think the thing is, on CT side, they realize how valuable each of these rounds are. They know how difficult it's going to be in MS team's position in just a round or two here. So Hot Sauce, they want to slow roll us. They want to get one more on the board and ensure that they will be the ones walking out victorious. MS teams, on the other hand, putting their everything into this, but unfortunately, they are met with an op. Make it a count of 2, actually, as we are going to get the double op down the mid once again. Geralt of Rivia first to fall to Dad Jorts, who is piloting one of these guns.
Oof. Dad Jorts going to find another, and unfortunately, they're kind of dry peeking these ops. I'd like to see that double flash over long A there when you're pressing in, but we just really didn't see him peeking off of those flashes. You've got to use utility. You've got to try to overrun the player that's on that op when you're dealing with him. You can't allow them to isolate those 1v1s. And not only are you dealing with one of those ops, but dealing with 2 is no easy task. So an insane start here for MS Office. Looking to close it up. It should be a smooth sailing here in the second half, but it is a CT-sided map. And if I think if MS teams can find a way to win that pistol round and start to work off that, they could have an opportunity to bring this one back. But if they lose this pistol round here, it could be all done and dusted.
It's about as even as you can get. And that, in fact, will be MS Office, unfortunately, claiming two to start things off. Hot Sauce, could we be seeing a death blow dealt here in the pistol round?
Looking to hammer in all the nails into the coffin here as they continue to fire shots down range. And after making their presence known here, a very fast rotation the other direction. But it does look like Office has a solid idea that they might be coming this direction. Spotted, but it doesn't matter. Dad Jorts continues to collect heads.
Wow, Dad Jorts has absolutely locked on in. What an incredible showing from MS Office's main representative here. Building the symphony around them. Symphony of Destruction spells the Song of Doom for MS teams. Down 2v3. It's a dicey scenario. That being said, things have slowed notably here. We're not quite at match point just yet. Teams has the ability to try to respond, but it's all up to Geralt or Rivia.
All down to Geralt, but Moose will find the headshot. MS Office just playing like a very well, just a great cohesive unit at this point. And I mean, 12-1 is insane here as they just need one to close it out. The economy not really there for MS teams, but we are going to see them force into these MP9s. We've got a scout there as well, and the old CZ pistol coming out here for us.
This is important. Teams realizing that they're going to have to put it all in here, shove the chips onto the table, and hope for the best scenario already. A rapid flank here. Geralt to Rivia looking to go on the chase. These gunshots definitely were heard out by the side of MS Office, but it doesn't matter. Luminous picked off early in this one. Will be traded back up for Jin on the other side, as now it will be MS Office turning their guns on all but one. And Syndicate is the last obstacle between them and Office claiming victory. And they will step over teams in order to enter as the champions of the CCC season.
Insane showing. I mean, you wouldn't know it from those first two games. We had a 16-13, I think it was, in overtime, and then a 13-11. And now we had was it 13-1, 13-2 by the end of that? I mean, just an insane showing here from MS Office. Congratulations to all the players on the field today as you are fighting for a great cause. Of course, MS team's not going home empty-handed. They get the bragging rights of second place. They get to take $660 home to the Seattle Children's Hospital as well. So, again, huge shout out and thanks to them for fighting and playing for such a great cause. But for MS Office, we congratulate you on your victorious dub here today. The championship is all yours, and $1,320 of that prize pool to that Child's Play charity as well. So again, hats off all the way around, and certainly a lot of fun today.
Yeah, it was an immense amount of fun casting with you, Hot Sauce, of course, and documenting such a close series. Like I said, we're unfortunately deprived of a lot of these time and time again, but out of all the places, it's going to be between MS Office and MS Teams grudge matching for charity that we are going to get one of the craziest bouts that I've ever seen here in CS.
Yeah, crazy bounce indeed. After all that excitement, I'm almost ready for more action. Unfortunately, that is going to be all for us here tonight. And a huge shout out to CEA for allowing us to come back and shout at the mic here with you guys tonight. Just a pleasure to be part of such a wonderful corporate charity championship event. So again, we thank each and every one of you, as well as you hanging out with us in chat. We certainly appreciate you. And of course, those behind the scenes, Gatago, helping run the stream so smoothly and doing the observing. And I believe it was TJ, or was it JG? There was a TO back there as well who was working very, very hard. So I do apologize if I didn't get the name correct, but TG was what it was?
JG, I think.
JG. Okay. So at least we can get a shout out to them because again, a lot of times people behind the scenes do not get enough credit. We get the easy job. We get to come up here and yell at the mic. So just wanted to make sure that we extend our thank yous all the way around to all the wonderful people working behind the scenes there. So again, thank you all. But as I said earlier, it is all for us now. That legend over there has been Nyarko. My name is Hot Sauce. You all have been absolutely amazing. We hope to see you back here for the next event. But until then, take care and have a wonderful evening, everyone.